anybody home?
Today, I want you to open your mind.
I've almost come to the conclusion that the story is so damning that the mass of people can't deal with it.
We are in process of developing a whole series of techniques to get people actually to love their servitude.
We face a hostile ideology, global in scope, atheistic in character, ruthless in purpose, and insidious in method.
For we are opposed around the world by a monolithic and ruthless conspiracy that relies primarily on covert means for expanding its sphere of influence.
To change the minds and the attitudes and the beliefs of the people to bring about one world socialist totalitarian government.
The potential for the disastrous rise of misplaced power exists.
It has patterned itself after every dictator who has ever planted the ripping imprint of a boot on the pages of history since the beginning of time.
If you can get people to consent to the state of affairs in which they are living, then you have a much more easily controllable society than you would if you were relying wholly on clubs and firing squads and concentration camps.
Tools of conquest do not necessarily come with bombs and explosions and fallout. There are weapons that are simply thoughts, attitudes, prejudices.
As you connect the dots between different people, organizations, religions, history, suddenly the picture starts to form.
The kingdom of God is within man, not one man nor a group of men.
Someone born in the United States is not more special than someone born in Mexico. They're just vehicles for the consciousness to experience.
They do not want your children to be educated. They do not want you to think too much.
It was learned that the aliens had men and were then manipulating masses of people through secret societies, witchcraft, magic, the occult, and religion.
They reach into our children. Music, television, books.
Prey on children's innocence.
How can I disprove lies that are stamped with an official seal?
So if you have the opportunity to stand next to one of these machines, it feels like an altar to an alien god.
Genetic power is the most awesome force the planet's ever seen, but you wield it like a kid that's found his dad's gun.
The Army Air Forces has announced that a flying disc is now in the possession of the Army.
Too many others know what's happening out there. And no government agency has jurisdiction over the truth.
Any state, any entity, any ideology that fails to recognize the worth, the dignity, the rights of man, that state is obsolete. A case to be filed under M for Mankind in the Twilight Zone.
It's about time some of you got acquainted with the real hard truth.
If you don't connect the dots, it's just a mass of what's all this about.
You are listening to the Secret Teachings Radio. I'm your host, Ryan Gable. It is Monday, live in the evening, June 15th, 2026. If you're watching the video version of tonight's show, those of you in the archive will find this labeled for Tuesday. That is what time it is here in Japan, where I'm recording this show live tonight. We have John Pizzi with us. A lot of listeners really enjoyed the last show John was on, so we have him back for a part 2, which is technically a part 4, because he's been on the show multiple times in the past. We'll get to that in just a moment. I wanted to let you know that as a listener, a viewer of the now Monday evening show, it will be the same exact show. I am switching over to Mondays because what happens is I'm a day ahead, and that means that when I do the Saturday morning show, I basically lose my weekend, and I've tried to rearrange my schedule, so now that I can do the Monday show, Tuesday morning my time, I'll have Saturday and Sunday and half the day Monday off, so I'll have some more time, my time Monday, I'll have some more time to sort of prepare and relax and unwind, and it's just better overall for the mental health. So please make sure that you remember this Friday show will now be on Monday evenings. For those of you in the audio-only archive, especially if you're a subscriber, everything on the website should now be functioning properly. It should all be edited and working as it should. There are some little tiny tweaks and some little things that will probably change around, but the login should work. There should be no issues. It looks, I think, a lot better. I think the people working on it did a great job. tstradio.info. That's tstradio.info. And the email is rdgable@yahoo.com. I also am probably going to switch the other emails from Proton Mail and I might even switch the Yahoo one over to a Gmail because that one seems to work a lot better than one that I do have. So I might switch that stuff over soon. So pay attention. If you want to email me, I might have I'll still have the Yahoo one, but I might have a slightly different email. Just be aware of that. The links are all below, etc. Everything you need to know about the show. Let's just go ahead and talk with John Pizzi right now on the show, and welcome everybody in the chat who is joining us tonight. I put your comments on the screen. Cindy and Eric and Deborah and Edward, and I see Amber's in the chat, as well as Patriot Girl and a lot of our other longtime listeners. Thank you for joining us tonight. Let's bring the man of the hour onto the show. I'm not that entertaining. I think John's a little more entertaining than I am. John, welcome back to the Secret Teachings. Thanks for joining us.
Don't be silly. I wish I had half of your brain in my head, just half. That would be very good for me.
I'll give you half a brain. You give me half the funny bone, and we'll call it even.
I think you actually are a funny bone. I keep telling you, you should go out and do some stand-up because you could play that dry character. I think it would be very funny. Oh, you got me on the left. I'm always a guy on the right.
Yeah, I threw you on the left this time.
That's okay. All right.
Well, I don't want you to be obscured by the comment section here. So
I like the comment section. I'm multifunctional. I'm reading them as we speak.
I'm trying.
I have a hand in my crotch.
That's something I struggle with. That's something I struggle with, is reading the comments, responding to the comments, running the board, doing it all at once.
I've done a lot of online shows, and it was always a challenge. And it's really great to have like a person sitting there handing you the good stuff. And it's, then now the show grows larger. You need more people on and board. It's a tough game. What you do is a tough game.
Hey, what you do is a tough game.
It is.
I could get on stage and give a talk. Like I could give a presentation, but I don't think I could do comedy, because with the talk, I know, okay, this is the image I'm showing you. I know what the image is. I know what we're talking about, the symbolism, whatever, the history, the myths. But with comedy, you're relying on the audience to react, and that's a different thing for me.
Hey, the bad part about comedy is that you must have an audience react. Hi, Patriot Girl. You must have. You see, I could do two things at once. I'm masturbating when we speak, so without my hands.
That's for the Patreon behind the scenes. I'll show you how to do that.
The PayPal send us some money. Comedy is the only thing that you really must get. That's the funny part. I've gone to them parties where, like a private event for a wedding or something, and you go up and they say you do 20 minutes, right? And you want to make sure everything's in line. Dying is easy. Great line. You want to make sure everything is in line. And if it's not, you have less chance of doing very well. The funny part is the band, who gets paid a lot of money to sit there and just play. People could be eating dinner, chatting, having drinks. Nobody could give two shits. It's all good. They don't have to get that response. But comedians, it's literally like ping pong. You hit the ball. If it doesn't come back, you fail. And how much do you fail before you're out? Like a baseball game, like you're out,
Well, that's a good question. Can I ask you, how many times have you failed in the past? Did you fail a lot to become successful?
No, I failed many, many times. It's part of the process. You can't be funny without failing. As a matter of fact, the failure is growth. But you don't want to get paid to fail. You know what I'm saying? Like if you're at an open mic, it's okay to fail because you're just trying something out. But if somebody's paying you a lot of money and then all of a sudden you're failing, now you look, it's sad. It's painful. It's personal. It's not like, I don't like your veal chop. It's, I don't like you. You're not funny. Yeah, it's much more personal.
That's definitely true in everything, though, because I failed a lot when I first started radio. I would never want anybody to go back and listen to those old shows. It's horrible.
What's funny is if you project 5 years in the future, you wouldn't want anyone to look at today's show.
That's true. That's very true. Perspective matters. Like, what was I doing in 2026 talking to this comedian guy? What a waste of time.
Goofy guy, puppet guy. What the hell? I'm supposed to be doing the secret teaching. What's so secret about dick jokes?
Yeah. Masturbation jokes. So anyway, you're in New York, but you're not in the part of New York that's on fire, right? You're away from.
Actually, I'm in New Jersey right now, but no, yeah, I'm right. I'm 15, 20 minutes from the city, and I saw the whole bus and thing get go on fire and all of that. Yeah, I was. It's extremely disappointing to me to see people behave this way in any part of our country. It's very disturbing to me.
I honestly didn't even know what was going on. I had heard that there was something about sports, and I realized, oh, the New York Knicks were in the NBA Finals, which I stopped watching basketball over a decade ago. And then I read about it, and I thought, did they lose or did they won? Is this one game, or they won the? I guess they won the champ. But these riots have been going on for weeks, reportedly. This isn't like a new thing.
I think we're going to get a lot more this summer. I think that's all coming again. I think it's really, I think, look, you and I are on the same page. I mean, I think a lot of these people are paid, to create problems amongst just generally speaking. And then also you have the people that are under this disguise of perhaps the media's propaganda that's been put in their head so well that they have to react. And they believe they're righteous in their behavior. And then you have the people in charge that are allowing it because they don't want to, be considered racist like they did in the Midwest with the money being funded to the Somalians. So, it's funny. It's like it's almost a cat and mouse game of silliness that's being played amongst the people, dividing them to create a tension and all problem. And you know better than anybody. I know you do.
Well, the sporting events they're just excuses to steal and to cause mayhem. Because I don't see the connection. Like, I've watched a lot of sports in my life, and I've watched, my favorite hockey team win numerous Stanley Cups. When I was a kid, I watched the Buccaneers win the Super Bowl. And whether I was a kid or I'm an adult, my first reaction to that isn't, I should go steal a TV. Like that, I don't see how those two things correlate. I just steal a speaker.
I thought about being a criminal a couple of times. I actually thought myself, but I'm too empathetic to people to hurt them in that way. I could only hurt them with dick jokes. I really couldn't hurt them physically or verbally, or I couldn't hit somebody in the head with a gun and take their jewelry, or I couldn't do it. I was thinking about this. Did you ever think about, if you had somebody says, here, I want you to be in business partner with you. And then you have these ethics that come up, right? Like my daughter, she owns a dance studio. And I asked her, how do all these other dance studios do so well? And she goes, what do you mean? I said, like, there's these large corporate ones that are around the country and they do really well. And she said, well, honestly, what they do is they hire people from other countries on a visa. They bring them in, they pay them half the money, they put them up, and they work off and they do the job for them. And then the company makes a lot more money. And I say, what do you think about that? And she goes, well, I don't know. I think it's like corporate greed. It doesn't make me feel good. I said, well, as you want to expand, what are you going to do to compete against them? What do you do? Because you're creating a problem. I said, so basically it's a matter of prostitution with a scale from the stripper that you bring in from Russia that's showing her breasts and dancing around in front of people. And it's going all the way to the person that's the dancer, to a waiter and waitress in Atlantic City at the Tropicana, to, it's a scale. And how do you want to make that scale is really dependent upon your ethics. How much prostitution do you want to be involved with as a owner of a business? And it's challenging.
I've thought about this with business, and I don't even consider what I do a business, but I guess it's part of a business. And I've considered this. And I always think of the South Park episode where they get really angry at this big Walmart-like store, and they want to destroy it and tear it down. And everybody's got to shop at the mom and pop store, and they do. And the mom and pop store gets real successful, and they build themselves into a Walmart, and then they burn that down too. And I've always wondered that about business and success, is that I think that a lot of people have the idea that to be successful, there's like a point that you have to reach with all the wealth and all the influence and all the power. And to me, I've always seen success as just being comfortable with what you have. Like you don't have to expand to have a store in every state, just be successful and pay your bills and your employees. And that's really, for me, that's kind of the bottom line. It's a bad.
I agree with you. When you say just pay your bills and be, first of all, you're giving me a definition of success, and that's a really good definition of success. On the other hand, though, when you have employees, there's there's a certain amount of employees that you could have where you're always at getting the arrows from the government and taxes and business and licenses and jurisdictions and the way they nickel and dime small businesses to death, because they don't want you to be a small business. They really want you to be part of the big box stores. Really is really what the country's going to. So it's really difficult to be a small business. And there's a point where you're a small business and then suddenly you have to grow to a point where you have so many employees that you become a larger business. And then you don't even speak to the employees. You have managers that handle the people below you. It becomes this pyramid where the guy on top, you don't even know who he is. And then there's managements and managements below. And there's no interaction between the top and the bottom. And at that point, you're safe because you have lawyers on staff and you make a lot of money and everything's really all going in the right direction. In order to get there, you have to step on a lot of people and you have to become something that I don't think I'd want to become. And I wonder if ethically I could. I don't know. I don't think I could. But we look before I even had a kid years ago, I remember thinking, oh, we should open up a strip club. There's so much money in that. And then now I look back and think when I see how these poor women and how they're treated, they're slaves. They're slaves, basically. It disgusts me that people could treat other humans like that. So it's just a scale again, it's just a scale.
Well, look at a lot of things like that. Even recently in the news over here, they talk a lot about the birth problem and how there's not enough children being born, not enough babies being born. But I don't know, on second consideration, upon a second glance, you think, well, that it's not really a contraction per se of the population, I guess, depending on the year and the numbers. It's just like things have averaged out. And there's not necessarily less people being born compared to the people dying. It's just kind of like one for one. So your population's not necessarily being, contracted. It's just staying the same. And they make a big deal about this. Everybody's going to go extinct. I don't really buy that narrative either, but I'm thinking of that because it's the same kind of way with business. Success isn't a singular thing. It's an individual perspective type of a thing. And I think it's the same thing with population growth, same thing with really any subject. It's how we define things as a society, as a culture, and then how we can either adopt those definitions or we can change them and adapt them to what feels right for us.
Yeah, I get where you're going with that, and I kind of agree. I don't know. I mean, this is a strange place to even start talking about as we go down this kind of a rabbit hole. I just want to tell you dick jokes.
Well, let me ask you this. Earlier, the listeners might enjoy this, particularly Amber and some of the other listeners in here who have been fans of our Secret Space Program shows. You showed me before the show, you have a David Wilcock style jacket.
Oh, yes.
I was
is
hoping
is that what you call it?
Yeah, you called it was it a Ricky Ricardo jacket?
Well, I'm a lot older. I remember as a kid watching the Ricky. What was it? I Love Lucy was back in like when I was the 70s, 80s when I was a kid. Yeah.
Yeah, I watched.
What about it?
Lucy. Well, I
you
just
want one?
I don't want a sizzle jacket, but I thought listeners might enjoy taking a look at it, seeing that sizzle jacket.
It's right here.
So John's going to go grab the David Wilcock jacket for the Secret Space Program show. David would have loved that jacket.
There we go.
Look at that.
Put it on.
That is Vegas-y. That is sparkly. Did you listen to many of those shows that we did about those guys in the Secret Space Program?
No, I hadn't listened to as many as I would like to. By the way, this jacket, I don't know where I got this jacket from, but I got to tell you that when I look at it, the first thing I think of is like it's a Richard Simmons garage sale kind of a thing, like Richard called Simmons, remember that guy, and he wanted it back from his grave. It's also it tempts my masculinity, if you will.
No problem. You can take it off, but I wanted the listeners to see that sizzle jacket. We have to have one on our show.
Only wear it. I just do it as a joke. I have one that's all blue sequin. I have a whole sequin blue jacket, and you can push it up and push it down. And I bought it just to be cheesy. And we were doing a show at the Bergano Atlantic City. And I told everybody on the show, let's go every time we go out, let's wear that jacket, each one of us. Just wear it. And we just did it as a gag between us for the people. And we wanted to see what people would say. And like nobody said anything. It's just like
Patriot Girl in the chat said very Liberace.
Thank you. That's an old term. See, I'm trying to avoid terms like Liberace because that's like, matter of fact, what was the great joke about Liberace? That's yeah. Oh yeah, Liberace loved parrots. Oh, I'm sorry, cockatoo. Thank you.
You were before the show. You were going through some of your stuff there. You don't have to show us your studio, but you were going through some of your stuff. You found a bunch of jokes that you had written down. You told me a funny one about.
That's a great joke. I forgot all about that. What was what's the difference between Amy Winehouse and Captain Morgan? And it's Captain Morgan comes alive when you give him Coke.
I got a kick out of that one.
That's a great joke.
That's a great joke.
I forgot all about it. Speaking of jokes, did I tell you last time that I think I told you the one about the guy with the head that goes in the water, right? Because I don't tell that very often.
The guy, the head that
goes with the head that falls down into the pool.
I don't remember, but you might as well tell it again.
I don't want to tell the same joke twice. If it was done before, I don't want to say.
I don't
What kind of batteries does your jacket require? Very funny, Chris. That's a good comment. I like it. So Chris is funny, or he's got a good sense of humor.
I think most that's
funny.
Sense of humor.
See, that's the kind of stuff I like. I like people that are clever and funny. Actually, clever and funny are two different things, but clever is always better than funny.
Maybe this show's more clever than funny, but there is a meeting point for those two things.
Absolutely, yeah. And funny is just like there's people that have really good funny muscles. The funny muscles, everything's like a thinking of fun. And then there's people that know how to take that funny and make it deeper, which makes it very clever, which makes it stronger humor.
Mm-hmm.
Big difference, between the clever. The more clever it is sometimes. And then there's just silly humor. I like silly humor as well. Like kind of.
Now I'm always writing down show ideas, not just ideas, but angles on shows to try to make something that's unique and different. I'm assuming it's the same way with all your notes that you found. It's with comedy. You always have ideas. You're always writing them down.
I'm actually writing. Yeah, I write a joke that maybe, and then I go back and I rewrite it, and then I look at it again, and I tell it to somebody, and then I try it out and see if it works, and then I tweak it a little bit. And so I like dark. I love dark humor too. Matter of fact, there's a lot of dark humor about. There's a lot of humor that's so dark that comics tell it between themselves, right, rather than on stage, which is kind of fun as well. There's this great joke too about.
Would you say is dark humor always controversial, or is sometimes it just more morbid?
It could be either or both. That's a good question, actually. That I think it could be either or both. I mean, dark goes into different mentalities of thinking. I mean, just and humor is basically math. It's 2 + 2 = 4, but figuring out how to get to 4 without being direct. 2 + 2 = 4. You want to do 2 plus this plus minus with that. You want to get it. It's really math. It's like music. It's combinations of different levels of structure, basically.
That's why I'm good at comedy, because I'm not good at math.
I think I was never good at math either. That's probably why I'm the worst writer in the world. That takes me long.
That's why you just do dick jokes.
Yeah, I like, there's something fun about dick jokes. There's also something fun about, like, here's a dark joke. When I was a little kid, my favorite memory was building sandcastles with my grandmother. That was, beautiful memories. And then my mom took the urn away. So that's like a dark kind of humor, because it's nasty. Like showbiz is really tough. Like last night, I got booed off got booed off stage by a whole family of angry people, and I don't think they like my sense of humor. But I think a eulogy should really have jokes in it. Again, dark humor.
Some people do that. I think I've heard of people hiring comedians for deaths or eulogy type things. I've heard of that before.
You know, it's funny. I never speak at these things ever. I never go speak at a funeral. But I know if I drop dead, I think I would love to have people go up there and make people laugh. I think it would be it's so much more refreshing than pain.
Yeah.
And even if it's sarcastic and not everyone's that way. I'm that way.
I mean, if I died, I'd hope people do a roast.
That would be great. I'll write the roast for you.
Yeah, let John do the roast. All right.
I'll do the roast. The Ryan Daniel roast. That actually, could you handle a roast if somebody came in? If I brought 3 comics on you and just banged you up for 30 minutes, could you handle it?
Oh, I hate myself more than anybody else. So
you're good with it.
I'm totally fine with it. I'm always trash talking myself, so I'm already in the game.
I just got the pronoun. Yeah, the whole pronoun thing. That was another thing.
What did Jackie say? Hello from first pronoun I.
You know Jackie? You know these people?
Yeah, I know a lot of these people. They're longtime listeners. There's Jackie and HP's here, Patriot Girl, Chris. Yeah, longtime listeners.
Speaking of pronouns, I was just thinking about this yesterday too. Oh, here's another one. What do you call a Jewish woman's nipples? The tip of the iceberg. That's a classic old joke, by the way. Very classic old. So a guy goes to a proctologist, and the doctor says, my God, man, how does your asshole get so stretched out? And the guy goes, well, I fucked an elephant. He goes, come on. Everyone knows an elephant has like a long penis, not wide. He goes, well, he put his finger in first. Here's a great one. I'm thinking of a guy, a couple goes to a marriage counselor, and the marriage counselor says, I think we should start off with what you have in common. And the husband goes, neither of us likes to suck cock. How beautiful of a joke that is. Right to the point.
Yeah, see, exactly. I was going to say that a lot of these jokes maybe they're crass, but they are direct to the point. It's clean. It's a clean cut.
It's set up, punch, boom. Set up, punch, boom. You know, that kind of a thing. I don't like things that are as long, even though some jokes are, requires to be long. I think I do ventriloquism. So what I do is I take the old man dummy out. I like to take him out and talk about his wife, his kids, and it's always nasty. It's never, because if it's all good in apple pie, it's not funny. What's funny is the person that understands the relationship between people and others. So when curmudgeon old man is always like telling you how he, my wife, whatever, my kids, my brother, my sister, the government, whatever. See, they like crass jokes. That's good people.
Patriot Girl likes crass jokes. Some other people like the dark humor. Well, I'm wondering,
fun stuff too.
I'm wondering now, I don't know why I just thought of this, but I think it's a good question. I'm wondering where the line is between, so if you're talking about dark humor, dark comedy, making fun of, the wife, family, very quote negative things. If you turn on the news is extremely negative, but it's not funny. So where's the line between where something dark or something even depressing can become funny? How do you find that line? How do you make it funny?
Impossible question, because it's personal. That's like saying, everyone in the world likes chicken cutlet. It's like, how do you know? How do one person die? It's personal. Comedy is personal, and how far you could go with it is up to the people that you're doing it for. It's funny though. I've been canceled. I mean, I've gone into a club and done things, and I could have 99% of the people like crying, laughing, and it's really strong. And you get one person that hates you because you said something, whatever the something may be. I was doing a show. I have this bit I do at the end of the show where I put a human dummy mask on a person.
Mm-hmm.
And I did a joke that's a throwaway kind of joke in the middle of him, the woman in the mask speaking or whatever. The guy's in the mask speaking, and he says something like, I said something like, I don't know, something to the relation of like, me, how do you behave like this? And, and he goes, it's the only way I get women, which is kind of like a rape joke kind of thing,
Mm-hmm.
And some woman came over me on the show. How dare you think about rape? It's not funny. My daughter was raped and blah, 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 and going on and on and on. And rape is not funny. It is not funny. But to talk jokes about rape is funny. But to a person that's had an issue with it, it's painful. And I understand. But it doesn't mean that 99 other people can't enjoy a joke about it. I don't agree with it, of course.
It's kind of funny you say that because that actually is an issue that got me in trouble on Dark Matter Radio years ago.
Right.
Was because Art Bell's son had been molested, and I was talking about the Catholic Church, and they had an issue with that. Like, don't you know Art Bell's son? It's like, well, first of all, I didn't do that to him. Second of all, I'm not talking about his son. I'm talking about the church, which really was the. Sometimes it's not what it's not what it appears on the surface. Like, they really weren't upset that I was talking about that. They were upset that I was talking about the church because a lot of the audience was Christian. That's really what upset, not the molestation part.
Yeah, I used to do these jokes about church too, and a lot of people were sensitive to them. And you have to use them sparingly. You have to use them when you think it's appropriate. And it's the same. It's like people say the N-word. You can't say the N-word. Well, if you're black, you could say the N-word, but if you're white, you shouldn't. And it's the same exact thing. It's who's sensitive to it. It depends on who you're talking to. I really think, and I think I mentioned this last time we spoke, that you could joke about anything, but not with everyone. And that's really the truth. It's really, really the truth.
Now, you using a word like the quote N-word was something that I never did to insult people, but it became part of my lexicon, spending time in the communities that I spent time with, whether it was in radio, it was mostly rappers and hip hop and all this. And I spent a lot of time playing basketball, and I was like one of the only people with light skin. And once you demonstrate that you're actually talented, people would call you, the N-word, which was kind of strange. But speaking of
too. People go, yo, my nigga. I'm like, whoa, what does that mean? Like, what are you doing? But that means that they own you. That's like a
It depends on how you pronounce it.
I'm not offended. Nobody can say anything that offends me. I really don't. I mean, people say stuff to me all the time, and I'm not offended by any of it. I'm really not. I don't get offended. People that are offended usually it means that they have a problem with some person. They own the problem, and then they're telling you it's your fault. You know what I mean? It's almost like the Donald Trump TDS kind of thing or whatever. It's the same thing with politics. You have people that feel one way and people that feel another way, and then they want to blame the other side for their inadequacies or inequities or whatever. And it's not necessarily the case. The case is you create a victim mentality, and you have to point the finger at somebody else for your feelings. You got to take responsibility for your own feelings. And responsibility means to respond with ability, which people forget.
That sounds like something Jordan Maxwell would have said.
Probably, yeah. I did love it. He didn't, but the one thing I remember Jordan Maxwell saying, I do remember one thing. I actually always wanted to meet that guy. I know you spoke to all these people. You met David Icke also, right?
Yeah, I never met David Icke in person. I got big leagued by some other guy at the event.
Mm-hmm.
One of the was it Procter and Gamble? One of the people from that. But yeah, I didn't meet him in person.
Have you interviewed him live on your show?
3 or 4 times, yeah. And Jordan was a good friend of mine. We had dinner one time in Arizona.
Yeah, it's your fault. My toe hurts. It's that kind of thing. I'm doing a show once in a club, and I have a black dummy that hates white people, which is very funny, but it's pompous. It's not necessarily
smoky. That's smoky.
Yeah, it's smoky. It's not necessarily mean-spirited. It's pompous. And I'm not racist at all. I mean, I had to turn around and say I have black friends. That sounds so I do. I have plenty of friends. I even feel bad what's going on for Iranian people. I mean, Iran is one of the most beautiful countries in the world. Honestly, if you look at the country itself, it's gorgeous. And it has a 7,000-year history.
A lot of history.
I feel bad for those people. And yet the people in charge are dicks. Okay, so that's the world. So you go to a club, there's 100 people, and 99 laugh, and you got somebody that's a dick. It's just the way it goes. There's dicks everywhere. The question is, hopefully you're not in the room with one. That's all it is.
Yeah, that's a rule. Well, just for maybe a little bit of humor, I found something here I thought you might find funny. Mm-hmm. It is speaking of my background when I was in early days of radio and in film school and all that. If I can pull it up here, I found an old picture of myself. Let's see if I can get it to come up here. So I was talking to a friend of mine who I used to do radio with. His name's Aaron, He went by the name DJ Wired. He did a music show, and
Mhm.
we did a lot of stuff together. We were he was into conspiracies and all that. So anyway, long story short, I stumbled across this, and when I found it on my phone, I was looking at it thinking, why do I have this picture? What is this? And I realized I'm in the picture. I completely forgot I was in the picture. So this is an old picture. You can probably spot me pretty
Oh my
quickly.
goodness.
That was
Yeah, I can
my
definitely spot
crowd.
you. Yeah. Yeah, you
Stick out like a white thumb.
you what's the name of the picture? It's called My Cracker Ass of My Friends.
That's an
Actually, that
old.
looks like fun though. They look like fun people.
Yeah, my friend told me this rapper here in the front with the big chain. He's changed his name. I forget that this woman here. I forget what she did. I felt like she was an athlete or something. The guy in the back there was a friend of mine from Haiti. So this was the gang that I rolled with in the old radio days. We were not liked that well at the station.
What this how long ago is this? I mean, I'm looking like you didn't
Oh
even
man,
look like you didn't shave your balls at this point. I mean, how old were you here?
I was like probably 19.
Yeah, you're a kid. Yeah, you're a kid.
That was a long time ago.
I got a bunch of pictures with rappers too. I've done so many shows over the years and met so many people for a brief moment here and there, and it's always that fleeting silliness that you look back and it's like, it's pointless. Doesn't mean anything, right? When you get it. Last night, my son-in-law was in Washington D.C. at that fight for UFC. He got a ticket,
Told me
and he
that.
sent me a picture of him with Tony Hinchcliffe, and I'm like, I never met Tony Hinchcliffe. He's there with him. I'm like, get out of here. It was horrible. I'm like, I want to meet the guy.
How many comedians have you met that people would know the names of? You knew
No,
Gilbert.
I can't begin to tell you. For many famous people, and we don't treat each other like if famous people or anything. No one ever does that. It's just when you're a comic with other comics, it's it's the same thing in your industry though. Think about it. You're hanging out with Clyde Lewis and these guys, and you got to interview all these other people in your circle, and to me that's like, wow, that's pretty impressive. And yet to me, I would sit there and want to bleed their brain for hours, and yet they're part of your circle. It doesn't mean as much to you the way me and comedians would interact with one another.
Yeah, my friend tells me that a lot. I was on the phone with my friend from high school last night. We don't get to talk a lot because of the time difference, but we always joke about how we've talked like every day since high school for years. And every time I talk to him, I'm always so busy. People are emailing me, messaging me. He just says it's kind of funny. These people, they subscribe to your show, they want to talk to you, and then when I'm talking to you, you're just that guy from high school. And I can text you anytime, and it's
exactly. That's kind of like how it is. I mean, like, yeah, she's Sam Kinison. Yeah, I met him before he died. Sure, Sam was great. He was coming up really fast. I started doing comedy in like '89 when, and I was a kid show magician. And by the way, I was innocent of all the charges. And I actually, well, all right, I'll tell you the truth. I was guessing his weight. I was guessing the kid's weight like this. That's what brought me in trouble. See, I love pedophile jokes. I always tell people, if you think I'm a pedophile, I tell the kid, just grow up. Yeah, grow up. That's the greatest line for pedophiles. But I started back in '89, and Dice Clay was like at the peak of coming down and trying to go back up. And I met Dice backstage a few times when we hung out, and I got to hang out with all these great. Oh man, Jerry Seinfeld would come in. Great comics, and they're just guys. They're just the guy and girls, And
I will say that there is a slight variance in that type of behavior in my business, because when you get behind the scenes with some of these people, especially at a conference, they're usually not very humble. So they're not the kinds of people that are just people. Like they're always trying. A lot of them, I could name names. In fact, I have before. Like the Laura Eisenhowers, for example. They're always trying to one up each other. Like they have more special secret contacts than you do. So those people don't necessarily. They're not just people. They're people that are trying to one up other people.
Well, there are comics that do this too, Ryan. They're like, we go out to, like, you do a gig with 4 or 5 comics. You go out to the diner. It's 2:00 in the morning, and you had a couple of Jack and Cokes, and you're having French fries and disco fries and burgers at 3 in the morning. And at the table, everybody's on. Everybody's like trying to top each other with jokes and making fun of each other, and so there is some of that goes on. And there are people that have a character they stay in their character, but it's not really who they are. And there's people that are always on. Like a perfect example of that would be Gilbert. I worked with Gilbert dozens and dozens of times, and I was really fond of Gilbert. And his voice and his behavior was a stage act. But when he came off, he was a sweet, simple guy. We'd have a glass of wine, talk about silly things and just laugh about stupidity. He's like a 5-year-old, really. And, because when he talked to him, he was like, I was like telling you, I was always telling you, like that. And then you sit there and you go, well, he's like a soft-spoken, nebbish type guy. So
that's funny. I see myself in a similar way to that. If you met me off of the air, I'm usually a much more soft-spoken guy. This isn't an act, but when you're doing a radio show, you got to sit up and project into the microphone. So
no, I've never met George Carlin. That would have been a really big one for me. I had a friend of mine who was his opening act for many years that apparently Carlin screwed. He promised him all kinds of things, and then they snipped him. He's a guitar act out of L.A. Nice guy who's still out there working. But no, I never. Dangerfield, yes, I had met Rodney. Rodney told me when I was working Rodney's Dangerfield's club in 61st Street and First Avenue, New York City, called Dangerfield's. By the way, he was a character, this guy. He would go downstairs, do coke, drink like an animal, and he'd walk around in his robe with his balls hanging out. I swear to God. And then before he went on stage, he put on the white shirt, the red tie, the thing, and he'd walk up there and he'd do that thing exactly like perfect, and then go back in and put the robe on and be himself. He watched my act with a dummy and he goes, hey, kid, you're very funny, but you know what you need? And I'm like, what? He goes, you need more conflict. I'm like, what do you mean? He goes, between you and the dummy, it's got to be more conflict. It has to be more of a fight between you and him. That's what's going to make it funny. And I took that very seriously. He was right. He was absolutely right.
It's the way that you're describing Dangerfield now, in the example I'm about to give you, cut out the alcohol, but the way that you just described him is kind of how Jordan Maxwell was. Jordan Maxwell, he wasn't drinking or something like that, but he would, so for example, let's say a friend of mine knew him really well, and he got paired up with him in a hotel room. They were staying together for a conference, and he said he walks in and Maxwell's there on the bed and just in his white underwear, basically naked, just in white underwear, watching TV, and he doesn't even budge when my friend walks in. He's there in his white underwear. And I've heard that story from a lot of people where Maxwell would just basically stand there in his whitey tighties and tell them about conspiracies and how the government's got you by the balls and the courtroom's
I think there's something, Ryan, that creates people that are really brainy or like use so much of one area, don't have the other area going on. Like shame, like you were talking about earlier. I think you don't have the shame. Like I am a person that could be shameful. I mean, I wouldn't walk around with my testicles swinging around, or I mean, I'd probably wear a t-shirt in the pool with other people that I didn't know. I mean, I'm very I don't know. I'm not the same person that's doing the show. When my wife would say, "Oh yeah, he's no fun at home at all." I'm very not intellectual. I wouldn't say. I'm more like analytical. I have extreme analytical side, extreme, and then I have the other side which is the funny, and the other side is the part that I try to work on the most. But when I'm home alone, I'm doing analytical things, so I'm not practicing my funny bone. And I try to purposefully sometimes, and sometimes I purposely try to turn that off. But when I first was younger, I didn't have any of that. I was
one of the scariest things for me when I was younger was when I played basketball, being told that, okay, you're going to be skins. I hated that. I always wanted to be shirts.
Oh, really?
Never wanted to take my shirt off. Yeah, I was always hoping if I ended up being placed in the category of skins, I had to go to the bathroom. I quit. I didn't want to play.
See, now this is funny too, because there's people that I have comics that have no shame at all. I mean, they will do anything and everything to get a laugh and not care how people are responding. They don't care. They have no shame at all. So I never got to that position where I could do anything for the joke. Like, no, I don't think so.
You have a limit. You have a line.
I have a line. I'd rather be like a guy that does crude humor with class.
But you'll say anything though, because there's a difference between
Pretty much. Well, not anything. I mean, I actually choose sometimes very carefully. I mean, like the N-word kind of thing. I never say that in my shows. Never. But there may be a group where I get away with it and I may do something with it. And it's the same thing with saying the C word, which is women really don't like, you know. So I try not to go too far. You know, I try to, but guess what? If I'm doing a bachelor party with 20 guys, maybe you'll throw it in there with something. So it's almost like choosing your targets. You do what's needed in that, more or less. It's like the chef. He gives you what's the right food, not you know, anything. You know?
Well, what's really funny is I think it was actually Amber in the chat. I was talking to somebody on social media on X, and I had made a comment about this fake psychic girl named Sarah R. Adams who accused me of killing David Wilcock, among other people. She's a real whack job psychopath, and she's fat as shit. How
fat is she? She had a yeast infection, and donuts came out. Krispy Kreme.
We need to get John employed against some of these secret space program people. He can just
No, I'm sorry to interrupt you. I just love fat jokes. Go ahead.
Oh, I do too. I love fat jokes too.
Oh, I'll tell you about that.
I said she's, because she had threatened some people that I know, and she threatened me, and so anyway, I said that she's a fat, you know, cunt. Oof. And some people said, I can't believe you talked about women like that. And I think Amber had come back and said, well, she is a cunt. So it's funny when a woman comes and defends that, then these like self-righteous liberal men don't know how to handle that.
You're right. And what do you call a Jewish cunt? A can't. That's a classic joke too.
As you can imagine, I love a good Jew joke.
Do you like a good Jew joke?
I love a good Jew joke.
Oh, God, I got a million Jewish jokes.
And as much as I'm a historical guy, and I don't like the rhetoric about the Germans in World War II, as most people know, I think it's
no, of course not,
But I do love a good Nazi joke too, despite that fact.
There's great Nazi jokes too. What do you call? Yeah, right. What do Germans tie their shoes? How do Germans tie their shoes? With little Nazis?
I've never heard that one before.
Yes, what do you call a German? What do you call a German tampon? A twat sticker. I mean, I don't do a million German jokes, but it's just like those are ones at the top of my head. But there was a great joke. There's a classic Borscht Belt joke about the guys going to buy the suits because all the Orthodox wear the black and white suits. Do you know that?
I mean, yeah. I mean, I know that they wear they have a uniform.
Yeah, oy vey. I like that's funny. Oy vey, oy vey. Yeah, they don't wear a you call it a uniform. Yeah, I guess the Germans wore the uniform. The Jews didn't. No, there's it's called Pinkus Tailors. It's a classic Jewish joke that was around for many, many years in the Borscht Belts. And it's got a really good twist on it. So I didn't tell you this before. I haven't told you.
No,
I don't think I have. It's an old joke. Two Jewish Orthodox guys wearing black and white with a hat are walking through a Jewish neighborhood, and they're going, "We have to buy a new suit. We have to buy a new suit. These are no good." And they go, "Hey, let's go over to Pinkus Tailors. Last time he took care of us, he gave us beautiful suit." He goes, "No, he didn't. Look at the suits he gave us. They're falling apart. They're not black. They're dark blue. They're not the right color. We need dark black." He says, "Let's go talk to them." They go. The two guys go into the store and they go, "Pinkus, please, we need new suits. But last time you told us these suits, we want it to be 100% dark black." And the guy pulls out a big roll of stuff and goes, "Look, this is the material I use. It's black. You're going to be happy." He says, "Come back in a few hours. I'll give you the new suits." So they come back. They put the new suits on. They're walking down the street. And he's going, "Yeah, what do you think?" And the guy goes, "I think it's okay, but I don't know if it's really the same material. I can't tell. It's a bright sun." And as they're walking by, two nuns come walking by. And they look at them and they say something. And they keep walking. And then He goes, you see, I told you. And he goes, what? He goes, you hear what she just said? And he goes, no. He said, they're talking about our suits, that they're not black. And he goes, what did she say? He goes, I don't know. It was Latin. It was called Pincus Fructus. Dumb joke, but it's funny. It's classic, by the way. Very old classic.
That's a long setup.
It is a very long song, but it's famous. It's a famous joke in a Jewish community. My other favorite joke is what's the difference? Why do Jewish women always wear two-piece bathing suits?
This one I've heard before, but
I told you because you got to separate the fish from the dairy.
Yeah.
That's a beautiful joke.
That one. I love that joke. That's a great joke.
That's a great joke. Great joke.
I like jokes about anything and everybody. I love ethnic jokes. Really anything. You make jokes about
the best. The greatest because they just really describe. And by the way, most people feel when you do the ethnic joke, people are upset by like it hurts them. You shouldn't do it because it's painful. It's not. I've done these jokes, all of them. I make fun of every group there is in a group at the show. And at the end of the show, I see people not offended. I see people coming together. It actually, in my opinion, breaks down the barriers that we have slowly by laughing together as a group about it.
Yeah.
When we accept it, you know.
Have you ever had a primarily black audience and got them real riled up to where they're waving the terrible towel? Or is that just in the big comedy shows?
No. The black audience, black and Latino are the best audiences ever. They really are.
Yeah.
Because they're more emotional people, generally speaking, in my opinion, and they know how to have a good time. I've been many times the only white comic in a black club and killed it, smoked it, and really loved it. And by the way, there's a point when you come on where they're going to hate you or like you, and then you tilt over and everything's fine.
Yeah.
And they're great. They're really great. I used to work with. You ever see Curb Your Enthusiasm? There's a black guy in there that's great.
Of course. Oh, Leon.
Yeah, I worked with him. Oh God, dozens and dozens of times in Newark, in the Bronx, and I am so happy for his success. He's much bigger than I would ever be at this point. He's doing so well. He had a bunch of wife and kids, lived in an apartment. Things were really not great, and he got that gig, and he's in Hollywood now. He's big money, and God,
he's hilarious. I love that character when they introduced him in that show.
He's great. And there was other guys I work with in these places that were just as funny as he was. That's what I'm saying. We don't dislike people because of their skin. I actually adore them for their behavior. It's funny. I just look. It's like anything else. There's good and bad of everybody, and it doesn't matter what your color is, your skin. You know, you could be a brutal person, and you could be a wonderful person. And there's people that usually have a good sense of humor, usually good people, generally.
I've noticed something that I did not expect this when I moved over here to Japan, but I've noticed something that in the TV ads, like commercials, or you see them on trains, there's a lot of things, if not everything over here is kind of it's kind of comedic based. Just everything's about comedy over here. Everything's
There's a couple of clubs in your area. There's a couple of clubs out there. I heard
there's
about
a bunch of them. Yeah, there's a bunch of them in the central Tokyo area. But yeah, the Japanese love comedy. It's a slightly different kind of comedy.
Is it?
It's really silly. It's really silly.
They like physical comedy too.
Oh yeah, they love physical comedy.
I see they were talking about Jim Brewer. I worked with Jim a couple of times too, and Jim is what you see is what you get. That guy. It's really true.
I don't know Jim.
Jim Brewer? He was the Goat Boy on Saturday Night Live. It was called Goat Boy. He used to do the goat bit. That's where everyone remembered him from because he was on SNL.
Yeah, I got to tell you, that's one thing that I never really watched much SNL.
You never did?
No.
Wow.
Classic or new stuff. I never really watched it. I don't think I'd watch it at all today because I've heard that it's become extremely not political because it's always been political, but it's become extremely liberalized.
Huge liberal right. Yeah, it's disgusting almost. And the thing that made it great was not that. What made it great was it had great humor and it had no barriers. And then once they clamped it all down and changed it, it just took away a lot of the heat, what made it funny, which is what they do in all the showbiz, isn't it? As soon as you got something that works, they take it away. Look at Roseanne Barr. She had a wonderful show. She did this. She came out and spoke about what she believed in, and they snipped her. I mean, it's a perfect example.
Well, some of that was over a joke. Wasn't that over that her
Well, the
referring.
same thing happened to Gilbert. He got snipped because of a joke about how many Japanese or Chinese people were under the sea after the plane crash. He made a really funny joke about it, and it took away his career. It was a lot of money. He took a lot of money from him. It's sad. It's so sad.
Can you do any other impressions, or can you just do Gilbert?
I don't do impressions. I was never an impressionist. I do have a friend of mine that's really good at it, but I was never. I worked at Gilbert so much, it just kind of got him in my head, because I actually made a Gilbert puppet after he died. I have one, and it's a soft puppet. And I asked him before I did it if it was okay before he passed away, and he said yes. And I don't really haven't used it. I haven't really. I don't know. I feel it feels odd. But I'm not an impressionist. I'm a comedian, magician, mentalist, ventriloquist.
No, I know that, but I know that you can do the Gilbert voice. I didn't know if you had some other talents.
No, the dummy's voice is supposed to be a little bit different than my own, though. I mean, the I have, like, high pitch, like nasally, like high. Like I have a baby puppet, and it's like, yeah, it's up there, and I have Smiley, the old man, which is like, I'm gonna get out of here, like he's low. So there's character driven.
I'm wondering, I don't think I ever asked you this, but how did you discover that you were good at doing stuff like that?
I'm not good. I still think I'm not good. I don't think I'm good.
How did you figure out you were terrible at it?
I got a lot to learn. I felt like I grew like a cactus. Slow. Really slow.
But solid. And
I just now have an act that works and makes a living. It says I'm confidently able to go out and do many different kinds of shows really well. And
was there a moment when you realized, hey, I can do this? Like a eureka moment, or no?
No, it's, like I'm going to ask you the same question. When did you realize, yeah, I'm here?
Like, realize that I'm here. I think that's maybe a slightly different question than
it's a little different. Yeah. But when do you realize you got the game? You're like, you're right. I'm in the game. I know what I'm doing. I'm playing it right. And I'm on top, but I'm moving my way along this slide.
I see what you're doing, turning the question around. However,
I'll answer the question. I will. But
I think that I do have I can't really explain the exact moment per se, but it was around like 2018, probably, 2019, I started thinking, okay, this is definitely, I'm going to really invest in this. That's around the time I started doing the 5 nights a week. So it was around that time.
I had the same idea. I was working kid shows in the 80s, and in the early 90s, I started doing comedy, and then I started working edgy, and then I started doing family shows and being edgy. And there was a guy that was a dirty ventriloquist named Otto and George, who was very well known. And I remember thinking, it was disgustingly dirty, but funny as hell. And I remember thinking I'd like to go more towards that, but not as bad as him. So people say, are you like that guy? I say, yeah, I'm like him with class. I wouldn't go that far. But when he passed away, not long ago, before he passed away, I remember committing, there's nobody else doing it really well. So I'm going to go out and become a dirty guy for a while. I went out and I started working clubs and just did dirty jokes with a dummy. And it went really good for a long time, and I got a really good beat on it. I felt really good about it. I felt that's where I was supposed to be. I thought it was going to be like a late night Vegas act, like midnight shows 6 days a week. And then the pandemic hit, and then I kind of like pulled back, and I started doing family shows again. And I started creating stuff for family again. I thought, it's really nice to be able to do anything and not have to be locked into this one thing. And then I started doing, I told you, orthodox gigs, which is the most difficult. And I had to be super, super clean. So now I'm able to, in the same day, I may go out and do a clean, kosher type show. And then at that night, do balls to the wall.
Yeah. Does the show have to be approved by a rabbi? Do you have to get that kosher stamp before you do?
That's the funny part. Every time I do a kosher gig, they like super clean, 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 clean. I'm like, okay. Then I set up and they go, the rabbi left, do whatever you want. Happens all the time. And I do the great joke. I always say, they say, whatever you do, don't do any circumcision jokes. I say, I have 5 minutes on circumcisions. And they go, you can't do it. And I said, all right, I'm going to cut the penis.
Cut it out. So,
Yeah.
so I wanted to ask you. It's not really a funny
Ed
thing.
Norton they brought up too. Ed, I can tell you. Okay, I'm sorry. Go ahead.
Oh no, go ahead. I'll go back to my
Oh,
question.
go.
Well, it's not really a funny thing. I don't want to shift the energy here, but living in the area that you do, have you heard anything, or do you know anything, or do you have any thoughts on those several cases of people in the sewer system? And recently, there were 71 Orthodox Jewish children that they were on a field
I've
trip.
not heard of this.
Sewer.
I'm not in the sewer system.
Yes, 71 Orthodox Jewish children was the report I read. They got lost in the sewer system.
And where was this exactly? In what town or state?
I believe it was in New York.
No, I've not heard. That sounds horrific. What is that all about?
Well, remember the Chabad Lubavitch, the synagogue, and the tunnels?
Yeah, Chabad, yeah.
Okay, and recently, or Chabad, I don't pronounce it correctly.
It's Chabad.
Chabad. So yeah. I think that was 3 years ago, 4 years ago, something like that, 2 years ago. There was a recent one a few weeks ago in Brooklyn. There's some security cam footage, and maybe some people filmed it, of a bunch of people climbing out of the sewers again, literally climbing out of the sewers, taking the manhole off and climbing out. And then a few days after that report, there was a bunch of Orthodox Jewish children that supposedly got lost in the sewer system.
What was the reason going through it though? Like,
I don't know. I honestly didn't read much more about it, but I'll pull the story up so that you can see it.
I never heard it. It sounds pretty gruesome. I know nothing about that. No,
I thought it was par for the course, considering these other stories about the tunnel system. But here,
where did it happen? Because let's see. That's a very interesting. 70 schoolgirls.
Schoolgirls, yeah, 70 or 70. I think it's 71. The headline in this story is not directly accurate.
I see you getting Japanese ads there. It's so funny to see that. Oh, yeah. Nyack Mayor Joseph Ransom, the group followed the Nyack Creek Culvert Park underground section, continued exploring nearly a half a mile.
Well, see,
wow.
They claim the kids got, but it's weird because that happens right after these sewer system. Is it Brooklyn sewer system?
Maybe they were they female Ninja Turtles?
Well, that's
Teenage Mutant Ninja Jewish Turtles.
Here's NBC New York. People seen climbing out of Brooklyn sewers.
I never heard any of this.
Oh, it's wild. It's wild stuff.
Oh my goodness, no.
So anyway, I didn't know if you'd heard about that.
No, I haven't heard. I haven't heard anything about it. However, I haven't been hired to be entertaining anyone in the sewers yet, so I guess that hasn't gone that far. I haven't. It's like, can you come to our camp? Sure. Where is it? Underneath the BQE and in the sewer. Okay. No, I haven't heard anything. I haven't heard any of that. No. Interesting though. Interesting.
There's got to be some jokes in there somewhere.
Oh yeah, my mind is thinking about that as we speak. I'm wondering where to go with that.
You'll have to read about it. Come back next time with a list of jokes.
Yeah. Speaking of, I spent the whole day today hanging out in the swimming pool. I was hanging out, and then I had to put it back in when people came over. Speaking of which, somebody wrote there, Jackie the Joke Man, in the thing, and excuse me, Jackie, that he mentioned his name. Two of the jokes that Jackie does all the time that I'll never forget. They're great jokes. An old lady goes into a pawn shop and goes, "I want to buy a dildo," and the guy goes, "Well, there's a couple up there on the wall. Which different sizes? Which one do you like?" She goes, "I want the big red one." And he goes, "Ma'am, the fire extinguisher next to the dildos." And the other one that he told me that I never forgot was a guy goes, oh yeah. So, all right, but a bunch of old guys are inside Florida in a room, and they're all actually listening to a person tell them how to not stutter, like a class. And they're all a bunch of old people, and the guy's up there explaining it. And two prostitutes walk by, and they go, She says, you know something? I could tell him, these guys right now, I could go tell them how to stop stuttering just like that. She goes, how do you do it? She goes, I bet you $100 right now that I go and make them stop stuttering in a few minutes. She goes, you're on. So she walks in. She goes, gentlemen, anyone can tell me what state that you're from without stuttering right now. I will give you a blowjob. Everybody's hand goes up. First old guy. She goes, sir, go ahead. He stands up. He goes, I'm from Michigan. She goes, no, you lose. You have to say it clearly. Next guy, where are you from? He goes, I'm from New York. She goes, you lose. Next guy, little Jewish guy, gets up. Where are you from? He goes, Miami. She goes, beautiful. She pulls down his pants, blows him in front of everybody, gets up when she's done, and she goes, how was that? And he goes, beach.
That's good.
It's a great joke. It's a simple, stupid, long joke, but it's great. One of my favorites.
We're at the halfway point of tonight's show, so I want to thank everybody in the chat room for joining us, especially on both short notice, because we're switching the show over to Monday nights now, and because I haven't really promoted that much. So thanks for joining us in the live chat. If you're listening in the audio archive and you hear advertisements, I don't put those in the show. They are put in there by the algorithm and Spreaker. That is how we finance the show, though, through those ads. So if you want to get rid of them, you don't like listening to them, which who does, sign up to the ad-free show at tstradio.info. There is a new website design. It's a little simpler to navigate, and we have the subscription service now embedded fully into the website, so it's a lot easier and more efficient. Looks like it's a 21st century website now, so that's something I'm very happy about, tstradio.info. You can also find my books on the website, and you can find links to social media if you haven't found us there yet. We've got John Pizzi with us tonight. Hour number 2. John, what would you like to do? I know you've said before many times you've got questions for me, and then we
I have millions of questions. I was going to show you a trick too, mentalism, but I do have a bunch of questions for you. As a matter of fact, I wrote a couple of them down because I wanted to make sure I didn't forget, because I know. I want to show you something that's interesting, okay? Do you think I can influence your behavior?
I don't know, maybe. I'm not really entirely sure. What exactly does a mentalist do?
Well, mentalists sometimes predict the future, and sometimes they try to control behaviors and thinking, which you're very familiar with. So I'm going to show you something. I got this. You know, you're familiar with ESP symbols, right?
Oh, of course.
Okay, so here. See this board?
Let me blow this screen up here. Okay.
Make sure you put some chapstick on before you do that. So you see, okay, I'll hold this here. Okay, see the screen?
Yes, I can see it.
I have two sets of these cards. That's set number 1. This is set number 2. Okay, let me show you these sets. That's not set number 1. We're starting to recode. Hope I have them all. 1, 2, 3, 4. Yeah, I do. 5. So you got 2 sets. 2 sets of cards. It's hard to do this while I'm seated, but I'll try. So here's the board. And this is the most amazing thing about this whole trick.
You do this in front of audiences? You hold this up?
No, I just did this because you were here. I thought it would be interesting to do.
Okay.
But so you have to, I'm going to take the cards one at a time. Like I'll take this one. Let's see. Here's a Cupido.
For those of you who are listening only, John has a plastic or plexiglass sheet, numbers on it, and a series of cards with different symbols on them on one side. He's now inserting them into the plastic holder.
Now it's your turn. 5 cards.
So put them anywhere?
I'm going to put them in my teeth so you can still see them. I'm not playing any games. I want you to tell me 1 through 5 where you want each card. I'll start with the top one. First, I'll mix them up a little bit so you can't see. This you see, it's randomized. Okay, now I'm going to influence your. I'm going to influence your behavior. You tell me where. Just go.
Put it on 3.
Are you sure?
Yeah, I'm sure.
Okay.
Put that card on 4.
Are you sure?
I'm sure.
Okay.
I think I see what you're doing. Maybe, maybe not. 2.
Want to change the line? No.
2.
Okay.
That card will do. We'll do 1.
Okay. And if you're a dumb blonde, I'd say, which way does that go? Okay.
That'll go to 5. All right.
Okay. Now,
So show
before
me
you,
what you've done.
do you want to change any of these before we move on, or no?
No, I'll
felt
stick
good.
with what I got.
So
Yeah.
if you have one that matches, it's pretty good. If you have 2, if you have 3, it'd be like unbelievable. Like Jordan would be here telling you that you have satanic powers if you had them all. How many do you think you got? I asked you to change around, but you didn't. You kind of specific.
How many did I get? I'd say
What do
I'd
you
be lucky to get. I'd be lucky to get 1.
Oh, really? You
Yeah, I have
did a
no
little
problem.
bit, you did a little bit better than 1. A little bit better than 1. What do you think?
We'll say a little bit better is 2 or 3, but no more than
Okay.
2 or 3.
Right. All of them was exact.
All of
You hit every single one. I've actually influenced your mind to actually choose what I wanted you to. What is the chances? What is the chances that everyone would match? You're unbelievable. Ryan, you're unbelievable.
Did you
So
invent that? Did you create
No, I
that?
did
Put
not.
that together? No.
It's something very old. And it's to your audience, they're going to figure it out, I think, pretty easily, I hope. I think they should, because I did some nasty stuff in the beginning to flash you, but we'll see if they figure it. Anyway, I just wanted to show you something.
Back and watch it. I'm gonna have to go back and watch that.
Oh, when you watch, you'll catch it.
Yeah.
Let me try something different here real quick. Yeah. I mean, I know we never did any magic before together. Let's see. I got a deck of cards here. You can see them. 52. You can't pick one, so just actually say whatever card you want. We'll pull it out. Name one.
Any card. How about just a card of hearts? Something
Which
with
one?
hearts.
How about a
Give me
7?
7 hearts is fine.
That
2 of
works?
hearts. Any hearts, yeah. 7 hearts.
7 of hearts works. Okay. So here's the way. Watch. 7 of hearts. All right, I'm trying to do this in the air so it's messy. All right, you ready? This is your game. Little mix. Name a number. Any number. Quickly.
Any number.
First,
3.
I'm going to keep you in focus. I have to do it this way here. 1, 2, 3. That's right here. You could have said 7. You could
That's the
have said
7
10.
hearts.
You could have said 8. But this is the third card. What do you think it is?
7 hearts.
Unbelievable.
Yeah.
How the hell did you know? That's close up.
There's something just real clean and fun about tricks like that. Magic tricks. I love stuff like that.
It's hard to do in this environment. Like I do have a table over here. I don't know if you could see it. Oh yeah, you can.
There we go. You got like that's a Alex Jones dot cam shot. Let me get the document cam shot.
Yeah, I could show you something here. Maybe. I don't know. Let's take a look and see. If I move this over. Let's see if it works. Okay. Try it again. Can you see?
Yeah, he's got a blue velvet table. We put out some cards on the table now.
All right, so look, we'll do 4 of a. Let's do 4 of a kind. Here we go. 10, 10, 10, 10. There's another 10. Give me one more. Just show you something with 4 10s real quick. This is a way to burn up time on the air real quick, huh? Okay, there we go. You can't get this. You can't get easier than this. Right?
There we go.
3 questions. 3 questions. Question 1. I'm going to turn over the middle card here from the bottom, the middle. What is this?
There's a light reflection. I see hearts. I can't really see the number.
Yeah, look at that light a little bit. Is that better?
That's worse. Oh, there we go. Okay, that's a 10 of hearts.
Which is the one here on the bottom?
10 of diamonds.
And is it on top or below the heart?
Say that again?
Is it on top or below the heart?
Below the heart.
And if I made him change place without touching, would that be good?
I'm guessing that's what you did.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, wow. That's a really fascinating one. Interesting.
That is, yeah, that's funny.
So he put the heart card down, and then what is that, a spade?
I'll do it again. I'll do it real quick. Ready?
Okay. I'm trying to describe. Maybe you could describe it better for the audience. Describe.
Well, you pull out. You pull out one card. It's a heart. You put it down on the table. Then you take out another card and you say that's a diamond, and you put that underneath the heart, and then they change places.
Well, so the diamond and the heart that he put down on the table is now in his hand.
It's visual.
That's really, really interesting.
It's a visual, as they say. Yeah, look at this. I'll show you two cards. Card number 1, 2 of spades. Card number 2, jack. I take the 2, I touch it against my it turns. Remember that card from the 10. Look at this one. Turns upside down. Watch them again. Jack. Crazy, right? This is the funny part.
Two of spades.
Yeah.
Now, I'm wondering, how did you teach yourself all of this, or did you have someone like a sensei teach you some of this?
Oh, that's funny. A sensei. That's really funny. Sensei.
Or in the chat room, someone asked you a question. They said, Arian asked, can he change some cards into loaves of bread and fishes?
Yeah, if I could do that, I would be the next king, wouldn't I? That would how wonderful would that be? Able to fool people to that extent, huh?
I don't know if those Orthodox Jews would let you perform there anymore. He can turn.
No, not at all. Not at all. They don't believe they don't believe they came yet. Apparently, something to that effect. No, if I was in person, I could really fry your mind, because it's like really great to do, and you're right.
Well, you got to come to Japan, and then we'll set up the studio.
I would like to come to Japan. I definitely would. I one of these days, I would definitely like to. I bet you all these people that are here in this thing would probably want to come to Japan.
Probably our main core of listeners. Yeah, would want to visit. I give you some. If you do want to come, give me shoot me an email, and I'll give you some advice of where and where not to go.
Where not to go?
Not that it's bad, but just that there's a lot of tourist traps.
Is it really?
Yeah,
I guess everywhere. How's the it's much more conservative there, right? Like you don't get all the LGBTQ and all that kind of stuff as much as in the US?
Not really, no. People in general, people dress very conservatively. Actually, not just conservatively, they dress more like
normal.
Well, some people dress Victoria England, like 18th century or something. A lot of that.
Nice. Hey,
it's a lot different than just seeing titties and ass everywhere in America, or pajamas.
Yeah, pajamas. Everyone in America dresses like a 3-year-old.
Yeah.
You see people on a plane, they look like they're going to bed. It's like, I remember as a kid, people go on a plane, they wear a suit and a tie and a jacket, and they put the jacket over their seat and put it down. And now everybody today is wearing, like, it says on the back of their ass, like pink.
Juicy.
Yeah, juicy and silly shit. Yeah, it's a different world, man.
Do you have a pair of those pants?
Juicy, I'm wearing them right now.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm very juicy.
It's sequenced. It says funny.
Yeah, it should be. Hey, I asked a feminist. A feminist asked me how do I view lesbian relationships, and apparently 4K wasn't a good answer. I thought, speaking of feminist thing, if a lesbian drives a Subaru, what kind of cars does a binary person drive?
I don't know, but
they don't care as long as they get them there. That's clever, right?
I like that one.
Clever?
Yes, that's good.
And why do sumo wrestlers shave their legs? They don't want to be mistaken for feminists. That's a beautiful visual, isn't it?
Well, the suit,
am I pissing off any of your people in the chat yet?
I think everybody in the chat's pretty happy tonight. No one's offended.
That's good. All right. So I could ask you my questions.
Yeah, you could ask. Some other listeners in the chat have some questions too, but you can go ahead. Yeah, we've got about 40 minutes left.
Okay, great. So the first one I wanted to ask you, I was thinking about these earlier. You I know last time we spoke, I was asking about social engineering.
Yeah.
And first of all, what do you think when it comes to the identity politics and the cultural movement? Do you think these movements like the LGBT activism and fit into like a broader societal change that they're trying to create? Because I see that.
So so just to clarify the question, you're saying, do you see the LGBTQ theme as an attempt to shift or change society?
Yes.
Yeah, without doubt. First of all, Jackie in the chat asked if we have that sound. There's a certain sound bite. I think I have it here, Jackie. Is that what you're looking for, Jackie? John has it too, I think, on his board.
I do have it. For some reason, I think mine's not working. What happened? Is it off? Is this turn off by itself? I also brought a puppet to show you.
All right, so I'll give you an answer to your question. I'll answer a few quick questions, then we'll go to the puppet show. So, yeah, very clearly, I think it's a weapon, but it is. It's a weapon. But I also believe that the opposite of it is a weapon. And what I mean by that is there are a lot of people now who they find it funny or they find it to be necessary to mock those people. Like, for example, to use the word faggot in a really offensive way. And I don't get on board with that either. And I think that it's two sides of the same coin, getting people to fight over gender and sex. It's about confusing children. It's about not having children. It's about perverting things that are sacred. There's a lot of different components to it. But I kind of look at it like, like one other example, feminism kind of teaches this idea that women don't need men, women should be in the workforce, all this. And what it really does is it helps to get women to pay their taxes and, work for a company, care about them. Right? But there's an opposite end of that spectrum where you have like the Andrew Tates, and they promote what I consider to be masculine feminism, where they promote this idea that you don't need women. You just need watches and cars and houses and get that money, and which is also just working for a company and making money and then consuming. And I honestly think that both feminism and the red pill movement, I think, is what they refer to it as. I think that both of those things are actually kind of ironically very capitalistic, not in a bad way, but capitalism has this image of being very opposed to feminist ideology or being opposed to liberal ideology, but both.
How do you feel about it, though? I mean, do you like capitalism? Because I do like capitalism to a point.
Yeah, I do too. And I think that's what feminism and the red pill movement are. They encourage people to buy and spend, and encourage people to work and for a company and pay their taxes. And I think the whole idea of there being these different sides, I don't buy that at all. I think the people pushing LGBTQ are just like the people that are saying, screw these faggots. And I think the people that are pushing feminism are the same ones pushing the red pill movement, and it just benefits a bunch of big companies. Not that I'm opposed to big companies. I'm just saying that I think it's a ruse. It's economic, cultural, social, political warfare is what I think it is.
I feel like, and maybe this would be offensive to people, but I feel like the women screw themselves on some level, because back in the 50s or 40s and 60s or whatever, they were able to actually stay at home and tend to their children and grow their children healthily within their own environment as a full-time mother. And what happened was, because of the, like you said, getting people to come in to make more money from taxes, what did they end up doing is they took away, they took away the family unit and broke it down And since they broke down a family union, now you have people that two people have to work to make the salary of one. Back in those days, it was one man that was serving, had two, a home and two cars and a mom, a wife at home raising their children properly. And because of the breakdown of society now, that's why you got people burning these buses and doing all the. It's because there's no culture. The culture is bad. There's no shame, like you said. There's no shame. There's no the people don't know how to behave. They're not being raised to behave. They go to school. They're controlled. They let them out and they go run wild. I think so. When I say women screw themselves, I don't mean they really screw themselves, but there were some women that obviously during those times, if they were in a bad relationship and they were the man, they couldn't get divorced because they were controlled by that one guy. They had no place else to go. So I understand the plight of women in the earlier days. On the other hand, they did have it better in the sense that being able to raise children, whereas today they don't have the opportunity to. They put them into a preschool so they could have a bigger TV and a new car. It's not a good place. It's a dichotomy of interest for our world.
Yeah, you'd never be able to appease everybody with a certain social or cultural policy or law. So there's always going to be someone who's going to be upset. It's like in comedy or just like in radio, you can't appease everybody. There's always that one person out of a room that's going to be really angry and make a scene. There's always going to be that. I think it comes down to what you said, but I think it also comes down to certain cultural things. Like when you're a child, I'll give you an example.
Mm-hmm.
When I woke up this morning, my friend had emailed me or he sent me a message and he said, you were telling me last night about this Japanese, the fans of the soccer team cleaning up the stadium. I said, yeah. And he sent me this message and he said, that made international news. I pulled the story up so that you can see it here on the screen. It says, why is Japan always so tidy at the World Cup? And it goes on to describe, it says, this girl who explains growing up in Japan, she said her parents had packed her off to school with a zokin, which she would need every day. And what my wife, I didn't know what this was. She said a zokin.
Never heard of it, yeah.
It's like a cloth, it's a rag, and they would teach kids to clean. Each child has their own rag, several pieces of recycled fabric, hand sewn together with their names on it. All the chairs and desks would be moved to the front. The children would sweep it up. This is the classroom. They would clean the floor with their little rags. They do this every day. They sweep the leaves. They cleaned everywhere, the stairs, the bathrooms. This is part of the schooling. And when you teach kids that at a young age, obviously those people don't grow up to become bus burners and rioters. When you don't teach your kids those things, then they do. And when society as a whole, when the entire culture is based on that kind of behavior, there's a certain level of shame where if you step out of line, you get shamed back into line. And if the line is keep things clean and be respectful, then there's nothing wrong with staying in line. But we have this idea that like any kind of order or any kind of line is like tyranny or authoritarianism. And quite frankly, I don't know if the line is keep things clean and organized and respect people's property. I don't consider that authoritarianism. I call that civilization. I call that decency, because what's happening in New York, what's in New York City is not civilization. It's not decency. It's malfeasance. It's mayhem.
Tell me more about the Japanese culture, though. Are the majority of men and women separated, or more women working as well in their society as well as the America?
Well, that's a complex thing. A lot of women are obviously working to have careers just like in the West. A lot of the problem over here, I think, stems back to the U.S. Federal Reserve undermining the Japanese economy. Like things over here would probably be, Japan might be in a far better economic position than they are now. They would be for certain if it wouldn't have been for the Western central banks. They might even probably, along with the Germans too, if we hadn't decimated and destroyed them, they'd probably be the leading economies in the world, because they had found a way to, even after the destruction of World War II, they found a way to build back and become economically superior, and the banks had an issue with that, so they undermined them. And that brought in plus the Constitution that the Allies wrote, it brought in feminism and all this, and it destroyed the yen, and it drove women to the workforce. And it's part of that, I think, is responsible for the loneliness issue that exists in Japan.
Tell me about the loneliness. So you're saying there's what is that? I don't understand that.
I don't fully understand it either because I've always lived alone and really haven't had a lot of people around me. So it's not a big deal to me. But people are really, really lonely. I mean, it's like considered a national issue. People are really lonely and depressed. But that's not really unique to Japan. That's everybody seems to be. I mean, there's a lot of depression in the U.S. too.
But you're not getting people lighting buses on fire after a game.
True, that's the difference.
So
yeah.
what is it? And there's another thing I wanted to bring up, another question, but before I jump to the next thing, but blending of all these countries from immigration, the blending process is creating conflicts. People come into other countries and try to create the countries into their own rather than be part of the culture that exists there currently. And that blending also creates separation and division and once again, fights, behavior that's not normal to a certain culture. Like Great Britain is a perfect example of what's gone on with the immigration that's gone in there, and it's happening in the U.S. dramatically as well. Now is really bad. France, Poland said no to everybody. Like, nope, we ain't playing that game. But I don't want to jump to the next question, but that's part of I think part of the issues as well.
No, it is part of the issue. But see, this is where my statements become extremely controversial for a lot of people. I believe very firmly that there is a common hand behind this, and it works like this. Most of the people that are being brought into the UK, brought into the US, and that are causing these problems, first of all, half of it's being promoted by the media. It's being pushed by the media, social media, mainstream media, to present
control.
Yeah. It presents this image. It frames this narrative in a certain way. So that creates this natural backlash. 50% of the population want to do something about it. The other 50% say, no, it's good. It's a positive thing. We need these people. We're helping them. So that gets people fighting amongst themselves. But the other angle, the other part of it is there's a common hand behind all of this. And I wanted to read you some. I'll read it to you because you brought this up. And you can distance yourself from me, John, when I read this statement from Mein Kampf. But if you read Mein Kampf, Hitler explicitly describes what this situation is. I'm going to read you this statement from the Murphy edition. He said the Jew uses every possible means to undermine the racial foundations of a subjugated people. They're responsible for bringing Negroes into the Rhineland with the ultimate idea of bastardizing the white race, which they hate, and thus lowering its cultural and political level so that they might dominate. For as long as a people remain racially pure and are conscious of the treasure of their blood, they can never be overcome by these people. Never in the world can the Jew become the master of any people except a bastardized people. You don't have to like Hitler. You don't have to have a Mein Kampf copy, in a glass case. But that statement that was written 100 years ago is true today because it is the Hebrew International Aid Society bringing these people into these countries. And when you understand,
I'm not familiar with that. I'm not familiar with what you're telling me. And another point of it too, just to interject there for a quick moment. I'm working within this community of people, and I don't see that politics. I see families trying to live conservative lives.
I'm sure that you do. Well, that's
you see why I actually see wonderful people. I really see wonderful people. I don't see what you're telling me, and I don't know if that exists on a higher level, like you said. I don't know, and if it does, I'd like to know more about that. I don't see that though.
I don't suspect that you do see it, and that's kind of the end point of what I'm getting at. So let me explain it like this. Let's just say that you have that accusation, true or not. You got this accusation. When you look at who pushes this stuff today, so you got the Hebrew International Aid Society, for example. You've got 88 different Jewish organizations in the United States that wrote a letter to the White House demanding that the Trump administration stop any potential deportations or rounding up of people. And, well, maybe you can have the imagery of rounding people up, but don't actually deport them. And the Trump administration backed off after they got that letter from those 88 organizations. Just a couple of examples, but so the ongoing wars, Iraq, Afghanistan, the liberation of these countries that have driven Arabs and Muslims for decades into the West, I don't necessarily think they're culturally incompatible per se, but when you merge large numbers of people into communities where there's not a slow adaptation process, you just force them in, it obviously creates conflict. And so
Yes.
the countries that are being cleaned out, those people are, according at least to the state of Israel, those people are trash. They're less than human. And they're dumping that trash on the UK and the United States, which they also consider to be trash based on the statements of top rabbis. And they're cleaning this space out. Now, this comes back around to what you're saying. They're creating, that's part of the Greater Israel Project. But now they're encouraging people from the UK, the US, Australia. They're saying, hey, Jews are being threatened. Anti-Semitism's on the rise. You need to come to Israel. This is how they're going to populate all these stolen lands. This is how they're going to populate all these conquered lands. More Jews that come to these places and set up settlements. However, when you get to the very bottom of the barrel, if you will, what you find is that the people that have usually been guilty of committing these acts of violence against Jews historically have been the terrorist groups like Irgun and B'nai B'rith and others. They terrorize Jews to come to Israel. They kill their own people, or they kill actual Jews, and these people like Netanyahu aren't actually Jewish at all. So the bottom line is, I think that what they're doing is they're setting up a kill zone, and the prophecies, like the theological, views of how the world's going to end, and the Jewish Christian views on, Armageddon and the apocalypse. I think they're creating the conditions for that. And they're putting Jews into a position, physically into a position where there's a lot of good people that are going to be absolutely, slaughtered, which is kind of why I wrote my new book. Despite it being called The Protocols of Goyim, I really do believe that the biggest group of people that are actually threatened by Israel and by all this stuff are the Jewish people themselves, like real Jewish people, be them Palestinian, the Israelites, or whatever. That's what I argued in the book. Is like the greatest threat to the Jews is the people that claim they're Jews, but they're not. And they use them as a shield to advance their own personal agendas. It's a very complex thing because of all the propaganda and because of all the, the programming in Hollywood and entertainment and schooling. But I mean, that's where I stand. That's how I see it. I don't think that you can look at it and not see at least a glimpse of what I'm getting at, because all these wars have cleaned out these areas. They've dumped these people into the West, and now they're trying to populate them with, quote, their own people as part of some end times prophecy. So, and I think it's the rabbinical leadership, which is what Jesus spoke about in the Bible.
I know everything that you just said. I'd have to spend more time like researching and deep diving, because I don't know it all to be, in my mind, factual. But I know you do a lot of deep research.
Well, it's also kind of like there's a common thing now where people say stuff about Indians like they're street poopers, or blacks. They just intentionally use the N word to like offend people. And I don't get that. I don't understand that either. Like, I don't have good experiences with Indians per se, but I have had some meetings with people that they're just common, decent people. And I think that it's all part of the engineered conflict, because when you look at New York and you see it's primarily black people that are doing this, your initial reaction might be, well, these people are obviously the problem, but black people aren't the problem. It's the lack of culture that's the problem.
I agree. The lack of culture is a lot of the problem. Yes, I agree with that. Yes, absolutely. Yeah. It's almost like they don't have a chance. You don't have a chance. But in reference, I mean, it's funny because what you're saying about the Jewish organizations, I don't know a lot about the organizations. I only know the people on the ground that I've dealt with. And the people on the ground, I have a lot of respect for, because they actually are just trying to live their lives, enjoy their families, and grow their own families within their religion, which is basically it seems to be very family oriented and very conservative. Those
are primarily Orthodox people, right?
Well, it's funny because there's a big brush about the Jewish community, and they call like the Japs. There's Orthodox, conservative, and Reformed. And in fact, there's a great joke about that, which I could tell you.
I was just starting to think there's got to be a joke there.
There's a joke there, and that's how I remember it. OCR. That's how I remember the joke, because it's Orthodox, conform. But the ones that are Orthodox, the extreme Orthodox, I don't know much of, because they're so much into their religion. They don't. they wouldn't laugh at anything. Matter of fact, I did a couple of shows where somebody thought the puppet was a robot. They were like, can you show him the puppet because he thinks it's like a robot? I said, it's not a robot. Can you show him? Because they're so involved in religion and studying that they just don't see outside. They're in a cocoon of their own world, which is almost crazy to think about, but that's what they do. Okay, whatever.
Well, the Orthodox Jews are typically at least in surveys and I think based on their beliefs, for the record, they're opposed to all the stuff that I'm talking about, or rather,
that's what I'm saying. They're very conservative, extremely conservative. What's interesting is New York Jews that are super liberal Jews. I don't understand. I haven't met that many of them yet. There's many of them apparently. I don't understand their mentality or their thinking either. I don't get it. But the ones that I work for, I have tremendous amount of respect for, because I look at them and I almost think like more society needs to be like that. The same way you're talking about the Japanese society, that they give them the rag they go to school with, and they're learning, and they have shame. These are traits that were always high above the average person, and then they really should have these sort of traits. I believe people should be more like this. And so what you're saying is a hierarchy of some organizations that are creating this on the next manipulating, I guess, on strings.
Yeah, all you really need though is if you have think about it like this: presidents have a certain amount of power, like stuff they are given power by the Constitution. Then there are things that are kind of assumed powers, like executive orders, and a lot of presidential debates and conversations and elections in the U.S. are really just theater. And no matter who the president is, I mean, you still get up and go to work every day, and the president doesn't have as much direct authority over certain things like people think that they do. So I'm using that as an example because there just always seems to be that one person that's presented as, the all-knowing authority, the all-knowing power. We forget that there's a Congress, that there's a House of Representatives, a Senate, a court system, etc. That one person. But that one person, just their image, like with Trump, can have a powerful impact on people for the better or for the worse, right? Just an image of Trump would send some people into convulsions. Like it literally did. People would just convulse.
Yes.
And I think it's the kind of the same thing with that top tier within the various Jewish communities, because the issue is not Orthodox, decent Jews. They're also attacked by the Rabbi Shmulis. They're also attacked by the water cannons of Netanyahu's administration. The issue is that historically, Jews have been in control of media, or whatever that version, it could be, the entertainment, or, things like stage shows and stuff like that over the decades, centuries, because Jews and Muslims in the West have been barred from engaging in those activities. Jews have traditionally been the money changers because the Quran bans usury, and Christians, or the church has, in the past condemned usury. Jews haven't. So if you have generations, centuries of people that are in control of wealth and in control of, let's say, people's perspectives on the world, because you run both through the wealth and also through the nepotism and religious restrictions and laws of other groups, you control the media, you control the entertainment. Imagine what you can do with basically unlimited money and unlimited access to people's brains. I mean, you literally, a few people can shape society. Look at Barry Wise on CNN and CBS. This idiot, who was an anti-Semitism czar, has been put in charge by who? A Jewish billionaire who is now getting to decide what people see through not just those platforms, but TikTok as well, social media and mainstream media. And it only takes one billionaire. And there's a disproportionate.
And what do you think about Soros?
He's part of the same thing that I'm talking about. It's what got, in a nutshell, it's what got Charlie Kirk killed. It's Bill Ackman, it's George Soros, it's Larry Ellison, it's a handful of Jewish billionaires that have ungodly amounts of money, and they have a belief system.
And what's the agenda? What is their agenda? The bottom line, their agenda, like what are they really leading towards? Because, I mean, to me, it's this destruction of the United States, because they want to destroy you from the inside out because of our Constitution.
Well, there's different. When you say what do they want, people definitely have different.
I think they want a one world government.
But when you listen to some of the rabbinical leadership today, the ones that Jesus spoke against thousands of years ago, the rabbis will say the United States has to be destroyed because they see it as an extension of the Roman Empire that they hold a grudge against. They call us
Mhm.
Edom or Amalek. And so the way that they destroy us is that they overflow the country, just like with Germany or Austria. They overthrow the country and overwhelm the country with people from other places that disrupt the culture. And it's twofold. They do that while also taking possession of those people's lands. And when you whether it's blackmail or it's billions and billions of dollars or it's control of the media because of money and because of nepotism and centuries of control, it doesn't take a lot of people who have a certain religious viewpoint to change things. And if you look at it from the point of view of like, liberals do have a point when they talk about how we shouldn't just pack the Supreme Court with a bunch of conservative Christians that are going to make decisions based on their Christian views. I agree with that. It should be the person who makes the best decision.
Correct.
Likewise, I agree that we shouldn't pack the Supreme Court with people that have super left-wing liberal ideas. That's
Correct.
a niche group of people. And if it's okay and acceptable to consider what people's religious views are in that respect, then we definitely need to consider what are the religious views of Larry Ellison and Barry Wise and Bill Ackman and these other people. Because if they have a radical belief system, if they believe, let's say, in some literal apocalypse or the Antichrist or something like that, then they're probably going to, if they're super, super religious, they're kind of like those Orthodox Jews who can't conceive that your hands inside of this mechanism and it's not a robot, then that matters because they're using their wealth and influence to bring those conditions about. So their religious viewpoints do matter. It does matter that they're Jewish. It does matter that they're Christian. It does matter what their beliefs are, more than for any other reason, simply because, to the point you made about the Constitution, all of that, for people that are religious zealots, all of that supersedes the Constitution. They don't care about religious rights. They don't care about people having their own beliefs. That's why they got anti-Semitism bills to ban the Bible in Congress. That's why you've got people like Randy Fine who plays both sides, but people like Randy Fine who just has been caught on video voting for people that aren't present, which is, I'm pretty sure, is treason and unbelievably illegal. They just don't care because their viewpoint is correct. And it's just as big of an issue with the Christians or the Muslims or other religious group as it is with the Jews.
Mm-hmm. Yes. I'd have to do more research on some of the things that you said previously because I don't have that experience. I only know the people from the bottom level. I don't see it from the top that you're talking about. And I can't defend or deny any of it without more like interpretation and understanding of it. I just know that from my position of where I am with this groups of people, I respect them more for the way they live in the world and not of it. It's hard to live in the world and not of it and do well. It really is.
A lot of those Orthodox Jews are kind of, I get the impression that they're kind of like Amish people in a way.
But I don't think my clientele is a lot of Orthodox. I think I do a lot of, I don't even know all the names. I guess you call it Reformed, conservative, slightly conservative Reformed. They're people that are pretty religious, but not to the point of orthodoxy. I would just be like a religious Christian that goes to church every Sunday and tries to do according to the Bible. It's the same thing, but they're not 100% all in. They're not living in a monastery. Yeah.
One of the for the record, one of the reasons that I talk about this stuff so brazenly is because in my whole life, since 9/11, 20-something years of my adult life, I've just heard the most vile and disgusting, I call it racist or whatever you want to call it, rhetoric against Muslims and Arabs. And I never had a bad experience with Muslims or Arabs. I have a lot of people that I've met or I'm friends with from a lot of those Middle Eastern countries. And I just noticed, like when I started telling people my experiences with them, you can't trust those Arabs. You can't trust those Muslims. Those Arabs and Muslims, they're dirty. They live in caves. And it's like, no, Saudi Arabia is not a cave. Neither is Tehran. And the fact that this is so embedded in our culture, it's so embedded in the media, it's so embedded in Hollywood, it's so embedded in politics, And you see that a lot of the influence for those things is it's Israel, and those people are their enemy. They see them as their enemy. So it's no
See,
wonder
this
that
is interesting too, though, because I did study the Muslim Brotherhood, and I did look into that kind of stuff a little bit, and I don't know everything about it, but from what I can tell, and I read some of the Quran, and it seems like the process of Muhammad and Muslims is to like migrate, replicate, and dominate. And that kind of is disturbing to me because, and when I say dominate, because again, like I mentioned earlier, it seems like a lot of cultures, they come into a different country and try to make their own culture yours. They get into the politics it's almost like turning everybody into what they are, which it depends, I guess, on how religious the person is, because some of the people that are not very religious just assimilate very well. I mean, that's why every place like New York has Chinatown, it has Little Italy, it has its own cultural little places that people they come together and they feel comfortable with their own place. And I find that disturbing because as nice as that it is, it's really not the best way to grow into a situation. Like I was at a party the other day, and there was a group of black people sitting at one table, and a group of Italians at another, and a group of white people at the other. And I said, as soon as I finish eating, I'm going to go sit at everyone. He said, I want to find out who everyone is. Everyone's feeling comfortable in their own place, and they're not willing to go interact with other people. And the non-interaction creates the separation. It's not understanding other people. So I do want to understand the Muslims, and I want to understand all the Jews. I want to understand everyone. I really want to understand them. And people are people, and there's good and bad. And there are people that are doing things well, and there's people that are doing things poorly. And there's people that are living religious in a skewed way, and there's people that are doing it correctly. So religion is good, but not always.
Agreed. Agreed. Not always, but I think it has a lot of positive benefits for people. Yeah, but have you noticed though what I'm saying? Like it's completely acceptable in our society in America to berate and just say the most vile, disgusting things about Persians, Iranians, Arabs, whatever, Muslims.
Yes,
but
agreed.
You can't do the same without horrible pushback about Jews or sometimes even Christians, and that's a problem for me. Because as someone who believes in free speech and free expression, freedom of religion, just from the standpoint of being an American, you can't have a free society where it's okay to berate and call for the arrest and deportation of people simply because they're Muslim. But if you were to do the same thing for Jews or anybody else, then it would be, it's a national headline. Anti-Semitism's on the rise when the Arabs are actually Semites and most Jews are not. So to me, it's a double standard, and I don't like double standards. And it's also very antithetical to the founding principles of this country, which is what I base, my views on. And simply because I talk about the Jewish issue a lot doesn't mean that I am pro-Muslim or something. Muslims have their own issues, and there are people that interpret Islam as a religion of conquest. But hey, don't forget the Christians were also a religion of conquest. Don't forget that if it wasn't for Islam, there was a 500-600 year period of what's called the Islamic Golden Age, where they didn't destroy European records. They didn't destroy European sciences and math. They actually preserved it and built upon it when the church was burning those things and destroying them.
Yeah,
so,
everyone's history has some pretty bad bones in the closets. Absolutely. Yes, everyone's history. That's very, very true. And why is it that this has all happened? It's because it's all about dominance. It's all about being on top. And it's no difference in politics today with people in Congress doing anything and everything they can just to stay in power. It's always about power, manipulation, and domination.
And if you have the viewpoint that you're right, like Christians have it just as much as Muslims have it, just as much as Jews have it. Like, I'm chosen by God, I'm special, my religion is correct.
Right.
And when you base everything on that, you're willing to fight. You're willing to kill people as inferior to you. That's what leads to ethnic cleansing.
That's what I said. Where sometimes religion is a good thing and sometimes it's a bad thing. It depends on how far you delve, how far you tone up into the whole thing. Yeah, I don't know. It's hard to categorize anything and everybody in any. You can't compartmentalize people easily because there's too many variances. But I got to say, I just try to walk through life and judge people based on how they treat me personally, not their culture, but how they treat me personally. I mean, if I have to get a kidney transplant, do you care if it came from a Jewish or Muslim, or if something's going to save your life, you don't care where it comes from, because we're all the same underneath. We're bone and blood. We all share the same color blood. I don't know, being loving towards people, doing the right thing, living life, helping others, being peaceful, using your energy, which is the only thing that you have to give away for good, is really where the focus really needs to always be provided. I mean, no matter what's going on, no matter what you think is coming, where it's coming from, the evil.
Well, so there's two things. Number one, I agree with what you're saying. The only downside to what you're saying is that, and I think I said this on the Tuesday show or Monday show that you'll hear in the archive.
Mhm.
I also said it's to be respectful to other people is something that you should strive for. You should try to be respectful. The problem is, if you're trying to be respectful to people that are rioting and looting, people that break into your house to steal things, those people aren't looking for a mutual respect. And
Yeah.
at some point, you have to find a way to defend yourself from those kinds of people. Otherwise, it's a fantasy world.
Totally agree. Totally agree. Let me interject a question here. Let me ask you a question. Do you think when a person does something that's really bad, like they rape and kill or hurt or cut somebody's fingers, or whatever they do, that really nasty, never mind just stealing cigarettes from the store, but when they do something bad, should they be in jail or should they be killed? What do you think?
Well, I don't think killed. I think that there should be a proportionate punishment to the crime that's committed. And I think that there should be a trial held for that person, and the evidence should be presented, right?
That's what they do. But I'm saying, do you think that like when a person goes and takes, kills a kid or does, I'm talking about evil. I'm not talking about like by an accident, a car accident or something. I'm saying purposely goes and rapes, destroys, hurts a child, does something wrong, takes a young girl, rapes them and kills them. Vile, nasty taking of life. Should that person be stored in a prison cell for the rest of life with us paying taxes for them, or should they be taken out?
Well, that's an age-old political question. I mean, my reaction. I mean, frankly, my reaction to the people that are protesting in New York is my emotional reaction is you give those people some stick time, curb stomp some people, break some bones.
I agree with that. I agree with that.
Can you say that in a rational and law and like
no
law-abiding civilization or society? No, but then again, you have to think these people are not abiding by the law. They're not respecting things. So the only thing these people understand is getting a stick to the head. So it's a balancing act.
Yes, it is. But we're not in North Korea. This is not North Korea where you could play that game. You have to go play. But I'm saying, though, do you think a person should be taken out like a cancer for when they've done vile things?
Certain people, I believe, yes. Certain people. Like,
You
I
think
believe
so?
if you molest a child,
Yes.
I believe that you should be euthanized.
Okay.
I think that's a red line.
The reason I brought this up was because I watch a lot of those shows on television, on YouTube all the time, called True Crime.
Yeah.
And it's fascinating how evil people are. I know we're at the end here, but it's fascinating how evil people are. And I always think about, like, why are we paying taxes for this person that's so vile? Like, if cancer was in your body, you cut it out. You don't let it grow. You get rid of it. It's useless. I bring it up to my daughter. My daughter's like a young girl, and I said, "What do you think? We should get rid of these people." And she said something so interesting to me that really made me step back and think. She said, "Well, we don't know what happens in our afterlife. We don't know what happens in the afterlife. And so rather than kill somebody, just putting them in a cell and taking care of it until the end of their life, lets the universe handle it," which I thought was like brilliant response. And I thought about it a lot, and I was like, you might be right. And that's why I asked you the question.
I don't know if there's really a correct answer to any of this. A lot of it's opinion, a lot of it's emotion, a lot of it's political philosophy. People have been debating these things forever. I think there's a better way to do things.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think that there's necessarily an absolute right way to do things. I think the law should be applied equally. And I think that if it's acceptable to mock and criticize and just berate and degrade one group of people, it should be acceptable to do that to every group of people. whether that's comedy or whether that's like real vile, I hate these Muslims. And if you can say that in America, and I can't say I hate Christians or I hate Jews or I hate atheists, then we have a free speech problem. And that's an issue. And that needs to be solved. That's my
totally
problem.
agree with you on that. Totally agree with you on that. Yes. I don't agree with everything, but I do agree with that.
A lot of times what I'm saying is I'm trying to make really obvious statements that make people think and kind of shock them, because I think that those things need to be said. I get tired of talking points and rhetoric and listening to people just repeat the same. Like I listened to Alex Jones for 15 years, just repeated Muslims, 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 Muslims. And then someone brings up Israel and, oh, everybody's obsessed with the Jews. It's like, no, you just rambled about Muslims for 15 years. Can we talk about something else? So, I mean, that's where I come at this from.
I get it. Yeah. And you're clearly not mainstream in the thinking either. It's not mainstream thinking. It's clearly not.
No, certainly not.
Certainly
not mainstream thinking. We are out of time, but if you want to spend a moment here, if you have a joke for us, or if you have,
of course, how could you not end off all seriousness without some dick jokes and humor, right? All right, a guy says, Doc, I think I got a sex problem. I can't get it up for my wife anymore. Doctor goes, all right, come back tomorrow and bring her with you. So next day, the guy comes back. He shows up with his wife. The doctor says to the wife, take off your clothes, lay on the table. She takes off her clothes. She lies on the table, and he walks around and looks up and down a few times. He pulls the guy to the side. He goes, you're fine. She doesn't give me a hard on either.
That's good.
Oh, you got to laugh in life. Life is so bizarre.
All the jokes that you've told tonight, are most of these you've written, or some of these?
No, not every. I mean, I write jokes all the time. And matter of fact, I used to write them and put my, like I could tell you jokes I've written. I would put my name under them. I go John Pease, and I would throw them up on Facebook and Twitter and stuff like that. And I got so many people complaining and arguing about everything. I was like, I'm just going to write my jokes for me, and I'm going to use them when I go out. Like I wrote a joke. What are the 3 main signs of an impending stroke? Do you know? This is a health question.
I don't know.
3 main signs of an impending stroke. It's
slurring,
Kleenex, hand cream, and pornography. And speaking of strokes, I think I may have told you this last time about the stroke. There's so many great stroke jokes. Oh God, it's just endless. I think I told you, it's a guy, 3 old Jewish ladies are sitting there sewing in Miami Beach, and a guy walks up to them, and he's got a long coat and it's black, and he opens it up and he's naked with an erection. And the first lady, she had a stroke. The second lady had a stroke, and the third lady, she couldn't reach. That's a great stroke joke, though. I like that as a stroke joke.
I saw that one coming, no pun intended.
Did you really?
Yeah.
How about okay, my boss made me go on one of those at the boss, what they send you out on those stupid understanding equality courses at a training center.
Yeah.
And so to be fair, it was interesting. And after that, they had a nice big lunch. And at the end, of course, they said, I think you made a lot of progress, Mr. Pizzi. And I said, thanks. Now, before I come home, where's the toilets? I got to go take a real darkie. See, one way.
See, yeah, and this breaks the it breaks the darkness of the more political type conversations. You got to have
absolutely. I really. Oh yeah, did I tell you the one about the lady? I think I may have. I don't remember. I just got so many jokes with the guy whose wife was in a coma and she couldn't, and she started blinking. He says, "Grab her breasts."
No, I don't think.
Oh, it's a great joke. So, guy has his wife in a coma, and he's got they're in the hospital, the thing around there, and he runs. He's looking for a doctor, and he goes, "Doc." He goes, "What's the matter?" He goes, "My wife. She's in a coma, and guess what? I just saw one of her eyelashes move." He goes, "Quick, go in there and grab her right breast and squeeze it like this." And he goes, "Really?" He goes, "Trust me." He goes and he grabs it and goes like this. He comes back, "Doc, I saw the other eyelash started to move." He goes, "Go in there and grab both breasts. Grab them like this." He goes, "Trust me, it works." He goes and he grabs both breasts. He comes in. He goes, "Doc, guess what? Just now I heard her go." He goes, "Perfect. Now go in there and have oral sex." He goes, "Seriously?" He goes, "Trust me, I'm a doctor." He goes in. He comes back out and he goes, "Doc." He goes, "How was it?" He goes, "She's dead." He goes, "What happened?" He goes, "I don't know. She choked." A good joke. All right, a guy is in a senior home, and he's in the back of the room, and at the end of the night, he goes, "Ladies, anyone tells me what's in my hand, I'll have sex with you." Lindy goes, "An elephant." He goes, "Close enough."
That's a quick one. I like the quick ones.
I'm hitting the music cues here. I was supposed to do this. I was trying to do this. No, not that either. Wow, what's going on with this stuff? I got a different remote. Okay, Sarah. Brian, it's always been too much fun. Ryan. Calling you Brian.
That's okay. It's late there where you are.
No, it's not. It's actually it's my witching hour.
You've been up rioting. You haven't gotten a lot of sleep, so.
Yes. I have lots of rioting to do and stuff. I have to go prepare a magic trick for somebody in my garage right now. That's my next my big fun. Hey, what's the middle part of a woman's waist called? Why is the middle part of a woman called a waist? What do you even know why they call it a waist?
I don't know, but I see the word waist. I know that there's something there that can be played around with.
It's because you could almost fit another pair of boobs there.
It's just a waist.
It's a waste. All right, here's the stupid one. 3 criminals are in front of a cross-eyed judge. The cross-eyed judge says to the first guy, "How do you plead?" The second guy goes, "Not guilty." The judge looks at him and says, "I wasn't talking to you." The third guy goes, "I didn't say anything." Cross-eyed. Speaking of cross-eyed,
I think you told me that one before. That one sounds familiar.
Speaking of cross-eyed, I tell you one about the ears. The Polish. I think I told you about the ears.
I don't remember the one about the ears.
The Polish guy goes for the job, and the Polish guy is wearing glasses.
Yeah, you haven't told me that one.
The powers of observation. In order to get the job, you have to have so 3 guys go into a job interview, and the first guy walks in, and he sits in front of the boss, and the boss says, "This job requires the powers of observation. Can make an observation about me." And the guy goes, "You have no ears." And he goes, "Get the hell out." Next guy comes walking, an Italian guy sits down, and he goes, "This job requires the powers of observation. Can make an observation about me." And the Italian guy goes, "Hey, you got no fucking ears." He goes, "Get out." Next guy comes the Polish guy, and as he's walking in, the Italian guy goes, "Hey, the man inside, he's got no ears, and he's a mighty sensitive. Don't bring it up if you want the job." Polish guy goes, "No problem." He walks in, sits down, and he goes, "This job requires the powers of observation. Can you make an observation about me?" And he says, "You wear glasses." He goes, "How'd you know that?" He goes, "You got no fucking ears." It's a long way to go, but it's funny.
Sometimes the long way around is better. I mean, it's funny because I see so much similarity between hosting a radio show, telling stories, analyzing things, and then telling jokes. Because sometimes I go a long way around to get to a point. Like sometimes 45 minutes. 45 minutes to get to
right. But you have that time. As a comic, you don't.
You don't, yeah.
Somebody wrote here in the chat, "I can clearly see your nuts." That joke is the one I think I told last time. A guy walks into a psychologist's office. He's naked, wearing nothing but saran wrap his underwear, and the psychologist goes, "I can clearly see your nuts." That's a great joke. You know who wrote that? Henny Youngman. Henny Youngman wrote that joke. Henny was brilliant.
Thanks, Chris, for putting that in the chat. I think that maybe we could end on this, back to the religious question. For me, the double standard with like Muslims and Arabs and all that is that I don't think that those people should be treated differently because they're, whatever they are to other people. They're seen as an offensive, or they're seen as a threatening religion, or they come from a part of the world that you don't like or even propagandized about. I think the same thing applies to Christians too. Like I defend Christians. I think the same thing applies to those Jews that you're talking about as well. I think I don't want, like, ultimately when there is a scapegoat selected, we've selected Muslims for a long time. Now Jews are being put into a position of being the scapegoat.
Yeah.
And what's going to happen to those Jewish families that are just living their lives that you're doing shows for? It's the same thing that's been happening to those Muslim families that have been living their lives in places like Dearborn since the 60s. They're the ones that end up getting ripped out of their homes or beaten up or actually harassed for being Jewish, or because people have been harassed for being Muslim for decades in this country. So, the blame game shifts and groups of people end up getting the blame, and they will suffer suffer damages for things that other people have done, and I think that that's unfortunate in any society, and it's a natural byproduct of people seeing that there's an issue. There's a lot of issues, and you got to blame somebody for it. And that's one of the key reasons that I focus on what I focus on. It's just because my show's so long form. It's not sound bites, or it's not jokes. It's not
Right.
short clips. If you don't listen to the full 2 hours, then you could be, even if you do listen to the full 2 hours, you could be very misled by what I actually believe, as opposed to what
I
you
get it. I do get it, but I have to say that I'm all good with any religion as long as it's not a political system. And the Quran can be used as a political system. And to me, and I'm not looking to open this up another can of worms, so just bringing up the point that I have nothing against Muslims either. I mean, people to people underneath it. It's just that if you're going to take, yeah, there's a lot of assholes in every every time you bite an apple, there's always a worm in some of them. The bottom line is, though, as long as things are not being used as a political system for change, then it's fine. But there are a lot of people that take the Quran and they take the Torah and Christianity and Bibles, and they take it and create it into political systems of change, whereas it's nothing to do with the people. It's about control, and that's when it goes sour.
Yeah, you're right about that. That's precisely what Jesus was talking about in the Bible. I'm not a Christian, for the record. I'm defending Christianity, though. Like, that's what Jesus was talking about when he talked about the Sanhedrin and the rabbis that were leading the Jewish people. They were incredibly corrupt, and they were incredibly wicked, even. But they ran, the Jewish community as through these religious laws and arguments and debates that they had, which was what the Talmud is. It's a bunch of rabbis arguing. I'm right. No, you're right. I'm wrong. Everybody's just fighting with each other. It's a political thing, and it's what this whole skull-filled Bible thing is. Genesis says you got to bless the Jewish people, and you'll be blessed, and to make it a political thing to support some foreign state that doesn't have your best interests at heart. And sure, people. I mean, I've written a book about it. Like, the Quran is taken horribly out of context, and plus, most of the things people tell us about the Quran are people that hate Muslims, and they give us their literalist interpretations of what it says. But I guess the point is, you're right, though. I mean, from the Talmud to the Torah to the general Bible to the Quran to any text. I mean, it's most of the time what we learn about those things in society or in Sunday school or whatever it is. It's usually with a political angle. It's like, we can do this because
conflict. That's the whole thing in a nutshell. And then once you start telling people how you have to consume something and the reason, it changes the whole nature of what it is. And not only that, you're supposed to be able to read something or understand something in yourself, internalize it, and do what you will with it, not be told how to behave for it.
Yeah. Well, I mean, like, I think you probably heard me say this before. So when people talk about a jihad, for example, like, if you define the word jihad, it does not mean what you were taught by the media. It does not mean what you were taught by, your church. Like, jihad means effort. It means to put effort into something. That's the literal definition of the word. It actually has a similar definition to Yisrael, or Israel, because Israel means to strive or to struggle with God. So to be an Israeli means that you, or an Israelite, it's a metaphor. You're struggling with this relationship with God. To go on a jihad means that you have this internal conflict, this struggle with God. And what that struggle is the angel on the shoulder, the devil on the shoulder. What is right and what is wrong. That's what the jihad is. In fact, the poet Rumi wrote about the decapitation of the infidel, and he said that this is not meant to be taken literally. It's figurative. It's symbolic. It's a metaphor. The infidel is that voice inside of you that tells you it's okay to steal. It's okay to hurt people. You have to decapitate that part of yourself. In other parts of Western occultism and magic, John, they would say that it's the killing of the animal. That's what the animal sacrifice is. So you can take these concepts, which are universal, even the Japanese concept of the universal force, musubi, it means to be bound. And that's the Latin definition of religion. It means religare, meaning to bind. Similar definition to the jihad or to the Yisrael, which means to struggle and to be bound in this conflict with what is right and wrong with God, etc. So we're all talking about the same thing.
Yes.
We just use different languages and we have different interpretations. But to interpret all of that, or even a little bit of it, as literal, that leads to conflict and war, and that's what I don't like.
We're totally in agreement. Absolutely, totally in agreement. I implore you to read that book. I would, if you weren't in Japan, I'd send you one. By the way, I'm a big fan of Rumi too. Matter of fact, I forget which book it was, but at the very end of his book, after all the nastiness has gone on in the world in his time, he said, after it's all, he's seen the worst and the best of everything. He said, I guess it's just, I think it was something like, we just should go and tend our own garden. Basically saying just leave it there to let it go and focus on the self for your own health, which is almost like checking out on some level. I implore you to read the book, The Prophet by Gahil Gibran. I'd love to know your opinion of it as well. You have Amazon in Japan, right?
Yeah, or I can get it digitally. I do have a Kindle.
I would love to know your opinion on it. That was my favorite book I've ever read.
I have been recommended.
Did you ever read Krishna in the Bhagavad Gita?
Yeah, I have a copy of the Bhagavad Gita.
Yeah, I've read that also. That was another thing I really enjoyed. But the other one, there you go.
No, this book is excellent.
It's really great. Yeah.
There's a lot of parallels. In fact, there's a tremendous amount of parallels in this book and the Bible.
Yes.
This is another thing that irritates me in the West, is that people believe that like Judaism or the Torah or the Ten Commandments are the sole like original source of commandments from God or the divine, or that it's the original religious text. It's not. The Bhagavad Gita in its original oral form is exceedingly, like, thousands of years older than anything the Jews wrote. And the Zendavesta is as well. This is one of the oldest texts.
I haven't read that. Okay.
It's more of like it's more like poetry, but if you read the beginning, it basically describes Genesis.
Oh, really? Okay. I think you're really going to enjoy the book I'm recommending to you, because I've gone back to it many times to learn. I read it many times. It touched me. It impacted me in my thinking. And I'm not talking about in comedy, and just as a personal growth as a person. It's as wonderful. It's beautifully written about a sage that walks into a town and answers questions to people. And it was done a long, long time ago. And I believe it's from a Muslim guy. Yeah. Gahil Gibran. So.
I've been recommended many times to read that book, and you recommended it last time. So I'll download it. I'll download it for my
tell me your thoughts. Yeah.
Reader.
Yeah.
Speaking of the Bhagavad Gita, I mean, if you read some of this stuff, it's like with the Quran. And if you don't have the context, or if you don't have a good translation, you can really misunderstand it. But when people talk about the Bhagavad Gita, obviously there isn't as much discussion about that in our society as there is something like a Quran. But a lot of Christians are really offended by this book. I know that.
Oh, really?
Oh, yeah.
I wasn't aware of that.
They think it's demonic. All the Hindu gods are evil.
Oh, really?
Yeah, John. But when you read this, as you know, it's not like that at all. It's the total opposite.
I was fascinated by it. I read it twice. I think I read it twice. I mean, I remember just really eating it up. You know, it's super interesting about how, and you know, but I got more out of the other book because of it's almost like knowledge that's, you just understand when you hear it, you're like, yeah, that's what it's about. Yeah, that's correct. You just feel like somebody's reading to you from your soul. To me, you know. Then again, I do dick jokes for a living, so what's my opinion?
Here's an example I'll give you. Like in the Bible, Jesus talks about going inside and praying inside of yourself, you know, and it being that closed off room. So I just opened to a random page here. This is 252 of the Bhagavad Gita as it is, which is one of the more common translations. And they're talking about the practice of yoga, which is not like, you know, hippie crystal women with stuff. It's not a yoga pants. Yoga means something different in this context. But yoga basically means meditation and prayer, and also stretches and breathing and all that. But it says to practice yoga, one should go to a secluded place and should lay in a certain way on the ground, etc. But what it's describing is that there's a certain way to perform the meditation in the same way that Jesus says, go and perform this prayer, this meditation in seclusion. You don't do it publicly. And here's something interesting. I learned this by reading the Quran. The Quran actually teaches that you should not go publicly and make a big display of your prayer. It teaches something very similar to what the Bible teaches. In other words, when you see these visuals of Muslims on prayer mats kneeling down in the middle of the road or kneeling down in a mall or an airport, if that's not a production, those people are not actually following the teachings of Muhammad or Allah.
Okay. Mm-hmm.
And it's not unique to Islam. It's the same thing with Christianity, where you read the Bible and you're like, oh, it says here not to do this, but Christians do this all the time. So what exactly is Christianity? What exactly is Islam? Because if it's following the Quran, then those people that are praying publicly and making a scene would not really be following Islam or the Quran. So we have these different definitions, and we have these cultural definitions, and we have these assumptions and these like Hollywood versions of things and our own biases. And it's really stupid. And that's, ultimately at the end of the day, that's why
hard to navigate life. It's hard to navigate. It's difficult to navigate. We don't have the tools to easily, you're not set up to learn. You're set up to be a good soldier. And that's why. So once you become a little more educated, you start seeing the world in a different light. But I always want to take my light from a spiritual perspective versus I want to be able to go through life looking at people in a non-judgmental way first. I'm disgusted by the things that go on in our world and horrified and painfully don't like it. On the other hand, I don't want to put all my attention on that. There's a lot of good people. You ever notice when there's a problem in the world, everyone steps up to help? There are good people. It's a good society out there. There really is a lot, but it's really overshadowed by a small 20% of insanity.
Yeah. 20% of insanity, or might even be less than that. It might be like 5%. But when
it might be, but it makes the most news,
Exactly. When you turn the camera,
stands out. And by the way, it's the thing that you want to see the most of, because you want to be hit on the head with a shovel rather than just go. It's the old thing, it's the old song, row, row your boat. It's the song, row, row your boat, because that's really what the life that you're supposed to gently go down your stream and merrily, not really go to the left and right into the murky stuff. Gently go down the stream, enjoy your life. Merrily, merrily, merrily.
There's 300 million people in the U.S. How many people are protesting or have protested in New York over the New York Knicks? What, a few hundred or a few thousand? What's
right.
the percentage? What percentage of that compared to the rest of the country? It's
how much news did it get?
All the news. Yeah, because no one's taking a camera to the middle of Montana and being like, look at this small town and how people peacefully interact.
Right. Nobody's showing you the shelter in Freehold, New Jersey, where people are getting fed soup by a person that donated the money. Nobody's showing you the good stuff. They only because that's not entertaining.
Yeah.
Somebody's seeing somebody, a black guy, and getting all nasty and at McDonald's and not getting his order and shooting the clerk is entertainment. That's you hit it all. It's all.
Yeah. Here's just for the record. Here is the Quran. This is Surah Al-Araf 755. Call upon your Lord humbly and secretly.
Secretly, yeah.
You could interpret other verses to mean throw a prayer right down on the middle of the interstate, but people don't actually do that. It's just like with what's in New York with the riots. It's just a production. It's theater is what it is. It's theatrical. Or it's people that have a really hardcore zealot viewpoint or belief, and someone films them doing something, and it supposedly represents the whole of that group of people. That's why social media is just really a poison. It's too much information, too much available, videos and content. It's too much, especially for, a population of people that might not be well adjusted otherwise. And when you go into it looking for, you get the algorithmic adjustments to what you want to see, and what you want to see becomes an echo chamber, and then that becomes your reality, and that's a problem.
Great point. Great point. That very well stated, by the way. Yeah, that was very. Actually, you should print that up and put it in social media right now. That's a beautifully written statement. Very well crafted.
That's kind of ironic. I'll run to social media and post. Yeah, exactly.
So I'll end off on a Jesus joke. How's that? Did I tell you the one about the guy in a truck driving with smoking pot and stuff?
No, I don't think you told me that one.
I think I did. I don't remember. I told so many jokes.
I don't think you told me that. Go ahead.
Guy. I think I told you. Jesus decides to come down from heaven, puts his thumb up on the Jersey Turnpike and wants to like experience living in New York and New Jersey. And he gets picked up by a truck driver. He's on vacation. And the truck driver picks him up and goes, "Where you going?" And Jesus goes, "Just traveling." And he goes, "Hey, man, you hungry?" And Jesus goes, "Yeah." He goes, "You want a ham sandwich?" Trucker says, "I got one here." And Jesus goes, "I usually eat salmon, but okay." And he eats the Sam sandwich. He goes, "Hey, man, want something to drink?" And Jesus goes, "Yes, do you have wine?" And he goes, "No, I got moonshine, made it myself. You're going to love it." He goes, "Okay." He drinks down the moonshine. It's very good. And he goes, "Hey, man, want to smoke some pot?" And Jesus goes, "I've never done that before." He goes, "Try some." So he smokes the whole joint. And he's sitting there thinking, this guy doesn't know who I am. And he goes, "I'm going to tell him." He goes, "You know, I have to tell you something. I'm Jesus Christ." And he goes, "That's good shit, huh?"
Oh, that's good.
It's another one just like that, where a guy moves into a new neighborhood. He says, "Hey, I'm having a party. You just moved in. You want to come over?" He goes, "What's going on?" He goes, "Gonna have lots of beer, lots of drugs, got Coke, and lots of food, buffet, barbecue, and lots of fucking." He goes, "Really?" He goes, "Yep." He goes, "Tonight, 7:00. He goes, "Who else is going to be here?" He goes, "Nobody, just me and you."
Most comedy is misdirection, right? Most of it, or magic certainly is misdirection, but is comedy mostly misdirection too?
You can call it misdirection. I don't know if it's necessarily misdirection. It's leading a person one way and finding a matching point that's unseen.
Yeah,
it's two places colliding. It's the direction of where you're going and something that that's the opposite or sound alike or different or something that you wouldn't see. That's what makes the brain spark. The brain is sparking because it's like when you say to the guy, "You're having fucking and having all this fun here," and he said, "Who's coming over?" "Nobody, just me and you." That's where you got the envision of this big party. So now all of a sudden he throws you that curveball. It's very funny, and it also means he's going to be gay on you or whatever, you know.
Yeah, it's the curveball. My friend sent me I never really like memes, so I must have missed this one. But my friend sent me a thing last night. We were talking on the phone, and he said, "You ever hear that essay joke about essays?" And I said, "No, I don't think so." So he sent me the meme, and he said it's like a Hispanic guy who's in class, and the teacher says, "Hey, you need to turn in your essay," and he's like, "Man, I ain't no snitch." I never heard that.
When you say essay, I think, yeah, right away. Essay. How about this? I used to be married to a girl from the Philippines, by the way, many years ago. Did I tell you that?
No, it's like Art Bell.
Yeah. But yes, like Art Bell. Unfortunately, she passed away though from testicular cancer. It's a long, sad story.
It's unfortunate.
Great joke.
I'm actually
like Art Bell's kid.
They got a Thai massage place over here. I've been thinking about going to, but I get concerned because I feel like it's all men. That's not a joke.
That's called homophobia, isn't that what it's called? Yeah. I hate to say that I have gay friends. They don't bother me as long as I don't know what's happening in this world. I'm not bothered by anybody as long as you don't stick it in people's face and making, it's all good by me. Do whatever you want.
I like to turn things around on people. They say, "Oh, you're a white supremacist." Say, "I'm not a white. I don't even have white friends." What are you talking about? I'm not a white.
There you go. Yeah, that's very funny, actually.
You're anti-Semitic. I'm anti-Gentile.
Anti-Gentile.
Yeah, stuff like that. You're anti-Gentile. You got to turn things around on people. Show them how silly the comments or the accusations are.
That's the truth. Yeah, it is so silly. I I like doing things that are like offbeat too. Like today, I was out in my backyard and a bird took a shit in my driveway in my car. So I went to the bird bath and I pissed in it. Just figured just to get even. That kind of stuff, you know?
Yeah. Let me ask you one last question because I know we would talk all night and we've already gone.
Oh, of course. It's like I feel like old friends.
What would be I actually got a lot of questions for you. I know you have a lot of questions for me too, probably still. Trying to think of what best way to word some of these questions are. First of all, do you have any more for me? Do you have anything else that you wrote down?
I do have a bunch of questions. Also, I wanted to show you this puppet. I took him in. You said bring one of your friends?
Yeah, let's do that. Bring one of your friends onto the show.
Let me show. I have him here. This is one of my characters that I use in the shows. Oh. I don't know if it's... There you go. Okay, you can see it? Yeah. Where the hell are we? Look up there. Huh? Look up there. What the hell is that? This is Ryan. Huh? Ryan. Who the hell is he? He's a very good radio guy. Where is he? Right there in the picture right there.
Right here.
What, a young guy? Okay. I hate him already. All right. What's the matter? I hate young people. All right. He's a nice guy. Looks gay. All right. So that's not nice. Now say you're sorry. Sorry you're gay, Ryan. Actually, Ryan's married to a beautiful Asian woman. Oh, sell that, huh? All right. All right. He has a beautiful Asian woman. Rental? No. So
borrowed.
Was that?
Borrowed.
Borrowed? Oh, borrowed.
Oh,
hey,
borrowed. Yeah, borrowed.
First of all, why don't you tell him about marriage? What do you mean? Like he'd like to know a little bit about like what it's like to be married. He's a young guy. All right. Like tell us about your way. Well, all she does is like say, can you get it up? Can you get it up? And what'd you tell her? I can't get it out. There's no sex. Are you kidding me? Okay. When's the last time you had sex? Ask Ryan. All right. Seriously, when's the last time you had sex? I don't know. What's sex like for you? It's like fireworks on the 4th of July. Right? Happens once a year and I'm asleep before it's over. There's no sex? No. Have you had your prostate check? You got your hand in the ass. Tell me now. All right. Yeah. Okay. Speaking of sex, yeah. Did you ever take Viagra? I took it today. Oh, really? Yeah. I thought it was an aspirin. I had a headache. So what happened? Now I got 2 headaches. All right. You get it, Ryan, right? You get it? What's his name?
Yeah. I think I've heard you do that one before.
That's one of my favorite jokes.
That's a great one.
This is one of my characters that I use for the shows. People like.
So what's his name?
Sniley, Uncle Sniley.
Uncle Snarly.
What's his name? Gable. Oh, he's gay. Gable. Oh, he's Gable. Gable and Abel. Say something nice to Ryan. All right. Hey Ryan, look. I'm an Uber driver. Right. Yeah, we always do that joke. Come on, turn around. Yeah. It's hard to do because I'm sitting down. It's weird.
Is it? You always stand up and do it? I've seen a lot of people do it sitting down. So you always stand up and do it?
Oh yeah, he's on a stand that he sits on, and I'm able to like get a lot more action out of him. Really,
Next time you got to bring the. I want to bring
Smokey.
Yeah.
Oh, he wants a black guy? Yeah, apparently so. Oh, I'm not good enough for you, racist? All right.
He already knows I'm a sellout.
Yeah, you're a sellout. All right. Yeah. Yes, I told you he's a nice guy. Is he really? Yes. Say something nice to Ryan. What do you mean? When you look at Ryan, you got to say something that makes him feel good. A tan? What are you trying to say? The guy is white. Yeah, he's a little bit white. Get some sun, will you? All right. Holy shit. All right. Looks like he shits chalk. Yeah. Okay. Just get over here.
Maybe it's the camera, but he looks like he does have like a suntan. Is that new or?
He's got very, he's painted with lots of colors. We want to see him from far away on the stage. I mean, not every gig's on a stage, but like, for a distance.
For people that don't know, these are all handmade, right?
Yeah, that's like a $12,000 puppet. Yeah, that's on the floor right now.
Did you make it, or do you have a company?
No, you kidding me? I can't carve a turkey.
You just put your hand up its ass, but you can't.
That's all I do is I put the hand in the ass and then tell the jokes. That's basically it. It is such a pleasure to create a character and put him out and have him grow like a plant. It's a pleasure. It doesn't always work. You could pick up something else, try to create it. It doesn't work that well, unfortunately. But
a friend of mine asked me to consider. We were joking about having like a character who for the shows that I do about Israel, since they're so controversial, have like a fake rabbi who supports the show, like Rabbi Sheckelstein or something like that.
I do have a rabbi puppet, by the way.
You have a rabbi? Oh my God, you got to bring the rabbi puppet on.
It's in the other room. I could get it. I have one. I have two rabbi puppets. Yeah. And it's a fun thing to do, the rabbi puppet. But again, I always have to be careful about how it's portrayed, because it's like one of those things that you don't want to offend anybody. The same thing with the black puppet. I have a black puppet. I don't want to offend black people. I want to make them pompous or funny or silly or,
I feel like black folks are much more into that. I feel like they're much more willing to find that stuff hilarious. As long as it's black folks, like a black audience.
Generally speaking. But if you're, it depends on who's doing it, I mean, I think I come out with the intention when people see me that they know I'm not really being mean-spirited and trying to hurt people. That's not my intention. My intention is to make people laugh based on what I'm doing. It's there's no actual hate. I don't have hate in my heart towards people at all. I don't. And I think that's why it plays well, because it's not coming from a place of mean-spiritedness or evil or upsetment or truth of my truth. It's not my truth. It's just generic things you hear that make it funny. Like do a joke with the black, put a white dummy. What do black fathers and white fathers both have in common? Neither of them want to take care of little black kids. That's a brutal joke.
That's good, yeah.
But there's a little truth in there. There's a little pieces of truth. So
does that one play well?
Well, I don't do it everywhere.
So you selectively decide what
exactly.
In front of.
Exactly. I'm filtered. Unlike you, I'm totally filtered. You go.
I have a filter in the sense that I know, like there's a part of me that knows, okay, if you say that, it's going to cause a problem. But the part of me that's in control says, I know it's going to cause a problem. I don't want to cause a problem, but I'm just going to say it anyway.
Let me ask you a question. Do you believe that when you have a strong opinion about certain things that you're throwing in other religions and other things around it because you want to make it more consumable?
No, I actually don't do that at all. I say those other things not to soften a blow, but to just it's like I don't hate people, or I hate everybody, including myself. It's like I genuinely see the similarities. If we're looking, say, at the Quran or the Bible, I see the similarities that are both positive and negative in terms of how you interpret it. I see, I'll bring up, Christians or Muslims or whatever, because I see that there's just as much hypocrisy within those groups of people or the different denominations as there is within, if talking about Judaism or anything else. Yeah, I don't do it because I'm trying to soften the blow. If anything, my motivation is to create an even larger explosion, because I'm like, well, if you think I hate this group, I'm going to say this shit about these other groups and fuck all of you.
That's kind of the way I do my comedy. You have to do it all or none. It's like you can't be a one-trick pony.
You got to go all in.
Let me ask you this though. What do you think people can do today? What kind of steps can they take to protect their privacy and independent thinking? Like, how do we protect our thinking in this world that we're in currently? Like, it's a good question,
Question. I think about that a lot. People used to ask me that on radio.
Oh yeah. I thought I was giving you a unique question.
Well, it's changed over the years, because back when people used to ask me that, the idea of, say, the NSA or the CIA or something spying on the general public, like the Snowden stuff had not come out yet. So it wasn't like a big talking point that people were aware of that, or like Palantir now. How do people control their own thinking? I don't know. For me, when I hear something, I don't automatically believe the opposite. That's dangerous. I automatically believe that what I'm being told is not the whole story. I never, ever assume that that's the whole story. I know that there's not only a second side to it, but there's an additional third piece of context to it that helps me to understand why both sides are probably, wrong. And religion, of all things, is probably one of the biggest the biggest fields of research, like actual theology and religious text, where you can find those things out by reading the texts. Like, for example, when people accuse, here's an example, something I learned recently. I had read for years, like the Muslims were so horrible to the Jews, they kicked them out of Mecca, they abused them, and etc. But then I read why, and I thought, oh, it's totally justified. They kicked the Jews out of Mecca because the Jews as a community conspired to kill Muhammad. That's a pretty important piece of context.
I was not aware of any of that.
Well, see, I wasn't either, and then I read the story, and I thought,
now, where does that story come from? Where is that factually based? I have no idea. I never heard that before.
Like the source of the original story? I forget the exact. There's several texts that document it.
Okay.
But I can get you the source of it. It's in my new book. Forgive me for not having it in front of me. But just as an example, there's a lot of things you hear. For example, like with the stuff you were talking about with the Quran earlier. People say, well, the Quran teaches X, Y, Z. And then you go read it. And if you go try to find the source of what's being claimed, often it's much different, if not entirely, antithetical to what people claim. This isn't just for religion. This is for a lot of things. It's like when people take clips of, I'm not a fan of Trump any more than I am Biden or Obama or Bush, but people take clips of Trump completely out of context when especially the first 4 years, he'd say something and then they would cut it like any politician and present it in a way that's not accurate. So the way that you take back your own thoughts is that you don't believe anything that you hear, and you assume that there's another side to it, and then you assume that there's additional context to it, and that's the problem. You have to investigate everything on a case by case basis, and that's hard because people.
Where do you get your news from?
Anywhere. Whatever the story is, I hear it. And here's a good example that shouldn't be controversial. There's a story that's been making the rounds on social media about all these Buddhist temples and shrines in Japan burning. And the narrative, I guess it is kind of religious because it deals with religion, but the narrative is that the Muslims are burning these shrines. And that's the narrative that's being pushed by some of the media. But if you actually were to go look at the statistics of these shrines that are burning, 2026, there's been less shrines burned this year than in previous years.
Okay.
And it's not because Muslims or anybody else for that matter is burning them. On occasion there's an arsonist who does something, and oftentimes they're Asian, they're not foreigners, or they're Japanese, they're not foreigners. There's crazy people, but it's extremely rare. The height of shrines burning was like 2016, I think it was. That number now from 2016 to 2026, a decade later, is like 40% of what it used to be. So there's actually less shrines that are burning. So I read a story like that and I think, some of the videos I see are from years previous. So I know that those are misleading. Some of the claims I'm reading, I know that it was caused by, say, a lightning strike. So I know it wasn't Muslims that did it. And then you put all these cases together and it's like, it's more logical and it's more rational. And it's always been the explanation that there's faulty wiring. Most of these shrines are 50 to 100 years old.
1 million years old, yeah.
Old wood. So or there's a lightning strike, things are dry. There's a real rational way to figure out what the cause is. But people want to blame Muslims, or they want to blame Chinese, or whatever the case might be. And in reality, it's just something that always happens, but the cameras are not always turned on it. So recently, that's something that I've had to apply my analytical skills to. And you can do this, and you have to do this with everything. You hear a story, assume it's not true. There's another side to it, and there's additional context that's missing. But you have to do it to everything, John. So that's what it becomes time consuming.
I see that. But you didn't say that actually where you get your actual news from. You don't have like a source of where you get. You do get anything. You read the Japanese Times, I guess. Right?
Usually I pull things. I don't really read news. I just pull things that are topical or that are trending, and then I find an angle on it. Like with the UFO stuff, there's a third batch of UFO files that we're going to talk about on the show this week.
Right.
I'm not reading news stories about that. There's a third batch. let me go to the DOJ or what's the FBI, DOJ, whatever agencies are releasing those. Let me go to the government's website and let's read those files and see what they actually say. I'm not really concerned with what some hack journalist says or some secret space program clown has to say on YouTube.
You know what I'm laughing at here? I'm looking here. You and I talking about a serious thing, and I see the chat, and it's going on. People are talking about Good Times and all the 70s comedy shows, and I'm looking at it like saying, it's like maybe you should do a show one night about like the funny things that we grew up with, people grew up with, because people still they're talking about Taxi, talking about
All in the Family, Jeffersons.
all that stuff. Those are great shows. They were all great shows before the world came in and told you you're not allowed to laugh any longer.
I've always been a fan of Married with Children. That's
one of the greatest written shows. That and the Golden Girls. Good Times. That was 70s. When somebody says Good Times, I know that person is over 50 years old. That's like when you ever get an email from somebody that says it's from at AOL, and you're like, holy shit, this person's like 60.
Well, hold on a second. My email's at Yahoo, and people think probably the same thing.
Yahoo got hacked years ago. I can't believe you're on Yahoo. Yeah.
There's nothing important on there. That's everything.
Nothing important.
Everything's compromised.
Three's
Company, Sanford and Sons. Well, I don't know if I told you this or I've ever told the audience this, but there have been two jobs in my life that I really, really, really wanted. One of them was getting into law, because I think I'd be a really good lawyer, certain kinds of law, specifically constitutional.
I think you would be a very good lawyer.
I'm confident I would be a good lawyer.
I know you'd be a good lawyer. It's just that who'd want to do it? Why would you want to do it? Speaking of which, two lawyers having lunch. He goes, "Hey, are you fucking a secretary?" He goes, "No." He goes, "Good, you fire her." You'd be a great lawyer. I know you'd be a great lawyer. All right, go ahead. Or the other job was what?
The other job was one of the original jobs I wanted when I was in high school. I used to write treatment scripts. I wanted to be a comedy writer for television shows. I used to write treatments or pilot,
Oh, really?
For different
That's
TV shows. That's
more surprising me than a lawyer. I could tell from the brain you'd be great at being a lawyer. You're very good at describing a point. You're poignant. You have good articulation. You got all that. I can see you in a court fighting against somebody. What would be really an opposite that would be really a pain. You become a lawyer and you're a defendant lawyer for all these bad people, all those PDFs and all that stuff. Yeah,
I've been watching Better Call Saul. Yeah, that's basically what
that's a great show. Great show. Better Call Saul, which, by the way, Breaking Bad was great. That's where that came off of. That was great too. It seems like you're always watching stuff like a couple of years later.
20 years.
You're a little behind on whatever's current.
Yeah, I'm really behind on what's current, John. I don't
TV is a waste. It's a waste anyway. It's just all a waste. That's why I watch YouTube. I watch a lot of YouTube. I listen to shows like yours. I watch shows like yours on YouTube. I watch other comedians. I watch true crime and stuff like that. I mean, I'm fascinated with the Nancy Guthrie case that's been going on. I've been following that for the last 3 months, waiting to see when they're going to find this poor woman that was abducted.
I know nothing about that, but people have asked me to do shows on it.
Oh, really? Well, it'll get you a lot more ratings.
Well, as long as I could do a show on bubblegum and type the show title, Guthrie, and it would do well. People be waiting to listen to that part of the show. They'd listen to the hour of bubblegum talk. That's what gets you popular. You just got to play with the algorithm and change.
Is that how it works? Because I never got popular on it. I don't know. I don't know. I think I missed the boat by about, I don't know how many years and 50 pounds. I'm not ready for that. That's not like, yeah. Hey, let me try something. I want to wonder if this will work. You have your iPhone with you?
Yeah.
I don't know if this is going to work. I just want to see if it's going to work. I know we shouldn't do this on you, but I'm going to try it anyway. You ready?
It's an old one, but let's see if. Well, hold on a second. If you're going to send me something, I got to turn off.
I'm not going to send you anything.
I got to turn off the airplane mode, though. Hold on. All right, go ahead.
Oh yeah. I wonder if it'll work. I don't know if it'll work. Let's see. Go to your browser, Safari.
All right, I'm on Safari.
She's, how do you not feel dumb for not knowing Guthrie? Mrs. Guthrie is the woman, is the mom of the NBC News anchor Savannah Guthrie's mom, who was actually taken from her home in Arizona, where you used to live.
I knew it had something to do with Arizona. I don't even know who the mom is. I don't ever watch the news.
Mm-hmm.
I have no idea.
So go to the website. What's it called? Definemyname.com. DEFINE myname.com.
Definemyname.com. All right, I'm there.
And in there, put it like, I don't know, put my name, put Pizzi, put my name in it. Tell me what it says about it.
My friend texted me the other night. He got your name wrong. He said, "When are you going to have John Pizza back on?" I said, "I'm going to have John
you're not
Pizzi."
the first person. Not the first one.
I don't see.
Yeah, it'll tell you. Scroll. It'll tell you about like my word, my name, or whatever.
Is this for celebrities or entertainers?
No, it's for anybody. Do me a favor. Do me a favor. You see when you put my name in, it says what Pizzi means and all that kind of stuff, right?
Oh, I thought it was like okay.
No, it just tells you about people's names. It's one of those kind of weird things. I want you to search. I don't know your wife's name, or if you have any kids. I want you to search somebody else's name in that and pull up their information about it. Tell me when you've done it.
Looks like you're a Hebrew.
Okay.
All right, let's see what.
It's better than being a gay Hebrew.
I'll type in my friend from high school, see what his name is.
Don't tell me his name, though. I just want to
right.
understand something about that person. Easy
Okay.
Peasy is a rapper name. Thank you very much. I like that.
Easy peasy. He's going to drop his LP after the show tonight.
Is he?
No, you.
Oh, me.
Your first album. Okay, I've looked up somebody else. So what am I looking for here?
I was just wondering if it was working across the world like this. You know, like you searched that person's name.
Yeah, it brings up information about the origin of the name, the numerology.
So let's go this. When you look up the information, the person's name, there's like there's origins, there's all that kind of stuff. It tells you like I don't know you tell me, what does it say? There's like things, there's groups, there's like
meaning, history, famous personality.
Let's go with personality traits. It gives you like several personality traits.
Yes.
All right, so let's do that. Let's do a personality trait. Tell me, tell me the personality traits one by one. Get
for my friend.
Yeah.
Okay, so thriving.
He's what?
Dedicated. Thriving.
Okay.
Thriving. Yes, thriving.
Okay.
Dedicated.
Okay.
Kind-hearted.
Oh, kind-hearted. I like that. Okay.
Level-headed.
Level-headed.
Yeah, that's what I've got.
That's it?
Yeah, what are you getting at here?
I'm trying to figure out the person's name.
Oh, based on that. Okay.
Yes, say them again.
Okay, level-headed.
No, the first one was level-headed? Well, the first one was thriving.
Not in any particular order. I was just reading them right to left.
Okay.
I've been reading things right to left sometimes when I see things like this, because in Japanese.
Oh, do you really?
My brain has been kind of scrambled.
Read it from left to right, like where you came from. Go ahead.
All right. All right. Level-headed is left. Level-headed.
Okay.
Thriving. Dedicated. Kind-hearted. Numerology is 7. And that's all that it gives me.
That's very funny. All right, I'm not getting anything. What was the person's name?
Joe or Joseph.
Joe or Joseph.
Although
meaning all those
I have like
level-headed.
7. I've got like 7 friends with that name.
Do you really?
Yeah, there's a bunch of average Joes. That's my whole friend group, just Joes. Apparently, his name is also. This must be his name is also derived. I mean, it's Hebrew, Joseph, Hebrew.
Is it really?
I wonder what my name is. John Jacob Jingleheimer Smith.
I want to show you something bizarre. I don't know if I have it here. I guess we could write on a piece of paper.
We got like 7 minutes in the night, and then we got to
do it really quick. Let me see. All right. Well, you can't see this list. You know Wikipedia?
Oh yeah, I don't like Wikipedia.
Me neither. I don't like who owns it. All right. I know we got a couple minutes here. Oh,
I'm looking at my own.
phone? Yeah, you can.
I can
me
see
try
it, but I
something.
can't. It's too small.
Yeah, I'll hold it up nice and tight. Blow up the screen. I'll show it nice and big. I want to show you something AI thing. You're going to freak out. You ready? Think of any card in the deck. Tell me what it is. Doesn't matter what it is.
A standard card deck, a jack
Of?
Jack of diamonds.
Now, why would you choose that? And would you like to change your mind?
Don't want to change my mind, but I know why I chose it.
That's fine. I want to show you my phone. I'm going to get up nice and close. On the phone, there's an app on here called, it's an AI app. You can see it. It's a Magic app. Right?
Mm-hmm.
It's AI. It's unbelievable. What it does is it'll tell you if you had a deck of cards, you put the card on top, it'll tell you where the card is going to be out of 52. So we'll do this very quickly. Right now it says, it has to know this, how many times would you shuffle that card on top of it? It's on the top. How many times would you shuffle a deck?
You have to type that in 3-4
Yes.
times, like that.
How many?
So let's say 3 times. 3 times shuffled.
I'm going to put a 3. See the 3? And click the check mark. All right. And then you submit. Now watch this. It's going to tell me exactly where your card would be. Now, if you pick up a deck of cards, exactly where it would be right now in a deck of cards. Because of the... Guess what? I'm getting a call. No, that's my...
The AI is calling.
Hello?
Oh, hi, got delivery for you.
Oh, is it for Mr. or Mrs.?
Oh, I'm not sure. It's got no name on it.
Can you hold it up to the camera?
Yeah, sure. It's just that.
Oh, Jack of Diamonds. Oh, put that inside the mailbox, please. Okay?
Yeah, no problem.
Take care. How silly is that?
I'm guessing that it's just pulling from what it hears me say.
No, definitely not. But that would be a good way to do it if you could do it that way.
I didn't realize there were magic apps. I never use apps, so I didn't realize that there's all kinds of apps out there.
That's a silly app. And I was telling you earlier, you're saying I hate paper cards. You don't use them anymore. They're no good. Look at this.
You got a metal card. Yeah,
it's metal. It's brass.
Well, let me tell you real quick before we go why I don't use those cards. Why I need that metal card was, I don't think I ever told you this. When I first was doing radio at the college radio station, people really either liked me, like this show's so cool, aliens, UFOs, Bigfoots, conspiracies, or people really hated me, like to the point where I was getting death threats and security had to escort me to my car for liability reasons. Literally, I'm not joking. That
sounds like marriage.
Maybe a little bit. So I would go in and I would put up. There were people there that did all kinds of shows. There were people there that did somebody did a show about the TV show Friends. It was like a 2-hour show just talking about Friends, and there were a bunch of other silly shows. And my show was obviously about all the same stuff I talk about today, but just with less knowledge on the subjects. And I used like an all-seeing eye and some others, just some random symbols. Like I had a Metatron's cube, and I tried to use every religious symbol I could think of and stuff. I put it on this. It was horrible. I printed it off of a computer and cut these cards out. There wasn't even a template. And I would post them on the corkboard, which was a community corkboard.
Of course.
Promote the show. And I noticed that there isn't really a punchline here, but I noticed that people were defacing them. And so I started experimenting with the symbols, and obviously it was the svastika or it was the pentagram. People had different issues with different symbols. Christians would deface the pentagram, I assumed, and
that makes sense,
etc. Anyway, though, one time I had put a stack of cards here, and they all disappeared. And so I talked to the manager, and he's like, "Oh, we don't know who did it. Have no idea." And so we come back into the studio the next time, as one day a week, and he's like furious. He's angry, and he says, "Why would you do that?" I do what? So someone had taped my cards, all of them, to his office door and drawn dicks all over them.
Oh, God.
And he asked me why I would do that. And I said, okay, hold on a second. First of all, I didn't do it. Second of all, why would I put my own business cards on your door and draw dicks on them? Why would I put my own name on it?
Right. Yeah, I'm really stupid.
Yeah. Well, if there is a punchline, the punchline is here. The punchline is that it turns out it was him. He did it. He took my cards and drew dicks on them and put them on his door.
To get you in trouble?
Yeah, so he could claim that I was,
How did you know he did it?
Crazy. Well, we ended up finding out I think we found out from the security cam, because they did have a security camera. But this guy absolutely hated us. He used to make up stories and lie about, like, he would come into the show when he didn't like something we were saying. I said something about Obama one time. He'd rush into the room. He was a super liberal professor type. He'd rush into the room and say,
God.
"There's a gas leak. You got to get off the air. We got to get out of here right now." This guy was a manager who had been at this.
Obviously, he's a little
messed up in the head. But he wasn't the only one that would do that. Anywhere I'd put my business cards unless he was following me, anywhere I'd put my business cards, the community people just deface them or write things. I know I didn't have any context for that though, John. Like, I mean, people were nasty in high schoolers, but when you're in the real world and you think, oh, this is interesting, let's talk, let's just have a conversation and learn about what each other thinks or believes. And I would interview people from the community, and then to be treated like, or have people defaced my car. They ripped the bumper stickers off and people spit on me. Or
wow,
crazy.
Wow.
I'm a young guy. I had no context for this. It's crazy. Like, I got called by the campus security, and they had police reports like, "We have to legally escort you to your car because people are threatening to kill you." And it's like, I talked about pyramids on the show. What? Why are people threatening to kill me?
Yeah, that's crazy. That doesn't make any sense.
No, it's crazy stuff. But anyway,
you should have been a lawyer. You should have been the lawyer. You could have been a lawyer. You'd be doing the same thing you're doing now, just that you'd be making a load of money.
A lot of money. Yeah, a lot of money.
You have the same hate, by the way. It doesn't matter.
It really would be the same thing. I'd be researching, and then I'd be giving a presentation, and
just make a lot more money. Yeah, it's all good. Ryan, the guy goes to the doctor, and the doctor says, "Listen, you got to stop masturbating." He goes, "Why?" He goes, "Because I'm trying to examine you."
All right.
No must stay. No must stay.
Namaste, as they say in the UFO community. Thank you for coming on, John. It's nice. It is like talking.
It was too much fun, Ryan. It's always a lot of fun. You're a blast. You're a fun guy. You're very smart and brilliant. And I have to go now research everything you said tonight. Make sure you're right.
I can send you a copy of the new book, or all my books if you want the new copies.
I will buy it. I'm not going to let you send me anything. I'll get it. I'll take it.
Like I said, it's nice. It is like talking to an old friend. Not that we've known each other for a long time. You're just old, but it's nice talking to an old.
I'm just old. Actually, no, it's always fun. It moves very quickly, and it feels like 3 hours passed. Like we're supposed to do 2, we did 3, and didn't even know what happened. It's just so funny. You're a good guy. I feel like kindred spirits on some level.
Whenever you want to do another show, let me know.
Absolutely, anytime. You stay well and you stay healthy. And by the way, what do panties and nail polish have in common?
You got me.
They both come off with a little alcohol.
I think I've heard that one before.
That's a beautiful joke.
Yeah. That is.
Ciao,
I can
bro.
see
Stay well and healthy. Happy birthday to the bride. As a matter of fact, tell her to stop calling me every night we hang up. Well, it's just call me all week long. Enough. We're done. We're finished. We're done. Tell her I'm married.
Speak Japanese?
I can't speak good fucking English. Japanese.
Yeah, that's funny. There's a bunch of there was a Japanese guy, a bunch of people coming to the U.S. for the World Cup. I played one of the clips on the last show. This guy's talking to one of these people at the World Cup, and this guy's like, "Man, you know what I said, what I mean. Well, you know what I mean, because that's what I mean." He's got this like real gangster, and this Japanese guy, he's like, "Do you speak English?" He doesn't know what they're saying. It's unfortunate that is how people view Americans. They're like, even if you speak English, I I don't even know what people are saying half the time, John.
That reminds me of the joke at the Vatican. Yeah. So this Japanese guy, he's got a camera, brand new Minolta camera, and he's at the Vatican taking pictures everywhere. And they could bring him up, and all of a sudden the Pope is masturbating in the Vatican. And the guy goes walking by and he sees it, goes like that, and he takes it. And the Pope goes, "Hey, whoa, give me that camera." He goes, "No." He goes, "Give me that camera." He goes, "No, it's my camera, brand new." He goes, "You want camera? $10,000. Pope goes, "I need those pictures. Stay right here." He goes and gets $10,000. Goes, "Here, give me the camera." The Pope takes it, puts it around his neck, and he knows he's safe. And he's walking around the Vatican. There's people there. He's waving to people, and all of a sudden he goes walking by a group of people, and he sees another Japanese guy. The guy comes on and goes, "Oh, Pope, what a beautiful camera." He goes, "Oh yeah, I just got it today. I paid $10,000. He goes, $10,000? Somebody see you coming."
That took a split second in my brain to get to process that one.
Tell your wife that joke. See if she laughs.
That's good.
Thank you, Ryan. Stay well, healthy, brother.
All right, you too, John. Have a good night.
Take care.
Okay, bye-bye. All right, John Pizzi. I'm Ryan Gable. TSTradio.info is the website. Thank you so much for tuning in to the show tonight. The video show is available on YouTube. I'm thinking about putting all the YouTube shows on the website. Let me know if you think that's a good idea, or if you just like going to YouTube to watch them. I know people have YouTube apps, and that's probably easier. Anyway, I'm trying to make things easier for you, and the website hopefully is much better for people to log into and to work with. tstradio.info. Thank you so much for tuning in tonight. If you want to email me, rdgable@yahoo.com. Hope that you have a great night, and check out all of our shows this week, last week, etc. in the archive. Tonight's show technically recorded Monday live, but it will be in the Tuesday archive if you're maybe confused about the dating of all of this. It's because I got some plans this week. I had to record some stuff ahead of time. All right. Have a good one. Bye-bye.